and your person's like, point them at me. Like, point them at me. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this. Having faith that you can build this together is really at the heart of the relationship. And that's so sweet. Like, I just love it. It makes me feel like this when I think about it. It makes me want to hug myself. Like, I don't usually do love readings, but these have been a delight. Hello, this is Kathy with Duality Unfolding. So I have a love reading. It's a singles pick a card. So if you are single and looking, this reading is for you. So I've pulled tarot cards from each of these 4 decks. These will be the groups that you can choose from. And then I've also pulled oracle cards in addition to the ones that are here. But with the oracle cards, we'll be looking at like themes for you around love, what needs to be released for this new love to come in, and then messages from your future lover. So let me get these out of the way so I can show you your options. So I've just picked random cards from each of the decks in addition to a Care Bear card because I just love these Care Bear cards and I'm trying to use them every chance I can because they're adorable and also they're all about love. So why wouldn't I, right? Why wouldn't I? So group number 1, I pulled cards for you from the Happy Tarot. So your option here is the 5 of Wands. And your Care Bear card is this Queen of Clubs. Super sweet. Kind of feels like this is what you're wanting to move away from, and this is what you might be wanting to move towards. Group number 2, I pulled cards for you from the Good Karma Tarot, and your card is 8 of Wands. And your Care Bear card is the 3 of Spades. Maybe we'll do it like that. There we go. So 8 of Wands is about really fast movement, and this is just happiness. I mean, who doesn't want that? Group number 3, I pulled cards for you from the Instarot, and your card is the Ace of Cups. This is a card of new beginnings around love. And your Care Bear card is the 5 of Diamonds with this little sunshine bear. I like the matching energy. And then for group number 4, I've pulled cards for you from the Star Spinner Tarot. And your card is the King of Coins. Got this little bunny. He looks a little grumpy, and that's okay. It's hard being a king. And your Care Bear card is, the 2 of Clubs with this adorable, I think that's Share Bear. I can't remember all of their names, but how cute are they? How cute is this? Okay, so this reading is, it's a pick a card for singles. Feel free to watch as many of the readings as you would like. Feel free to, pick based on the artwork, how you feel about the artwork, whatever resonates for you. And as always, take all the time that you need, and I will see you guys in the readings. Hello, group number 1. So if you chose the 5 of Wands and this Queen of Clubs, this is your reading. So I have pulled tarot cards for you from the Happy Tarot. I've also pulled some cards for messages from your future lover. So we will get into your tarot cards first. So let's see what we have. Okay, maybe I can move these down here. All right, let me take a look. Okay, so as far as love life and being single, it looks like you're coming out of this energy of kind of feeling like scared, uncertain, not really interested in love. In the past, I think that maybe you were in a not great relationship. Maybe you are like many of us, and relationships have been kind of tricky, difficult. I feel like especially since the pandemic, it changed us in a lot of ways. But with this reversal, what this feels like to me is that you're coming out of this. So the Eight of Swords upright is, this uncertainty. Like, we can't really see what's happening, and we kind of feel a little bit trapped or bound. And when we have our senses taken away from us, like when we're not able to trust what we feel, see, hear, it feels a lot scarier than it is. So when we look at this little person, it looks like their hands are bound behind their back, but we can't really tell, right? Like, we don't see any knots. Like, this could just be a ribbon. This could be one big piece of ribbon. Like, this could just be attached on the front side of their body. And so with all these swords around, like, swords represent like thoughts, mind, mindset, especially kind of all of them kind of looming in the background. It gives this energy of, feeling trapped, feeling scared, feeling unsupported. Our minds kind of run away with like the worst case situation. This can be anxiety. This can be even kind of depression. But we as the observer, we can see that this is not what's happening, right? So if our little person were to, kind of break free from these bindings, take this blindfold away, what they would see is a candied apple and a little duckling. And that, like, they have this little buddy hanging out here. So I feel like this is very much like a spirit guide that's just kind of been there. And they're like, group number one, they're processing some things, they're going through something, they're learning something, they're growing, and I'm just going to hang out so that when they come out of it, they have someone for support here. So this could be like a pet, this could be a spirit guide, this could be an ancestor, this could be a person, like this could be your real life bestie, this could be like your mom or your dad, like just someone that's really supportive, that has never like pushed you to get out of this energy. They're just kind of there, they're just like, when group number one is ready, they will come out. And so with these sun rays in the background, like, you are always meant to come out of this. Like, this is not a permanent state. This is a phase that, like all of us go through. Everybody experiences the Eight of Swords around something. And a lot of us experience it, when it comes to like relationships, because one, being human is hard, and then connecting with other human beings is hard, and also relationships are hard because, we're socialized and taught that like we are supposed to be a certain way in relationship, in addition to like all the things society teaches us, right? Like what is appropriate and inappropriate as far as like sexual orientation and gender and norms and, what is okay and what's not okay. And that's all in addition to the things that we do not talk about with relationships, right? Like, we, for the most part, like as a society, like we don't, and I feel like this is something that's becoming really prevalent in the workplace, is that like we don't teach skills in our families and our friendships and our relationships as a society for how to get along with people, how to collaborate with people, how to interact with people in a civil way when we disagree with them. And like, when you think about like when you're a kid in school and like you don't get along with other kids, like what are we taught? Just ignore them, just avoid them, like just be nice to them and then get away as soon as you can, instead of, a different way. And like, honestly, like, I don't know what that different way is, right? Because sometimes like it's not worth your energy to deal with people that create this kind of outcome after you relate to them, and then I think the more difficult part, and I think that this is what really happens for any of us that have been in this Eight of Swords, is that like we invested a lot of time, energy, and love into a relationship or into a person, and then something happens and we're in this space, and sometimes like those things happen because people don't know how to express their needs. People don't know how to be honest about what they want because they are also operating by all these norms and standards and things that are really unhealthy behaviors that are normalized, right? I think a lot of times like we're not taught how to figure out what our needs are as individuals. And then when we get into relationship, we are told expectations lead to disappointment, but we're socialized that it's acceptable to expect your partner, your person, your boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse to meet the needs that you maybe haven't identified and probably haven't expressed. So it's like we're all operating on this really kind of chaotic stuff. So I say all that to say that, you were in this energy for a long time. And because this is in the reverse when it came out, you're ready to come out of that. That you've been in that kind of worst case situation for long enough, and you stood in this little pond for long enough that maybe you're starting to feel like the warmth of the sun, and you're calm enough that you can listen. And it's like, wait, is that a duck? Like, is there a duck here? And it's like, okay, I can hear the water and I hear the breeze. And like, do I smell a candied apple? And it's like, now that like you've been able to kind of calm your nervous system or calm down, or maybe spend enough time alone to do some healing, you're in this space where it's like, oh, okay, this isn't what my brain was making it mean. Like, I am okay and I am safe. And like, even if I get hurt again, like I'll be okay and I'll be safe because I have support and I have other areas in my life that are sweet. And like, I've got God's source spirit, ancestors, guides, angels, people that love me that are kind of shining down this warmth of love onto me. And that even when things are painful, or they seem painful, or my brain says they're going to be painful, it's all going to be okay. And so you're coming out of this space of kind of being afraid to date or love or even meet new people. And so this is just really beautiful energy, right? That like, maybe this is what you experienced before and it led to this. And it's like, okay, I'm coming out of this now. I'm coming away from this. The internal thing that you experienced, the thing that people maybe haven't seen, this might also be a little bit unseen to you, is this 10 of Swords, which looks really harsh, right? And again, we've got these sun rays. We've got this person with all these little wooden swords in their back. And then we got this little cat. Just look at this buddy. He's just hanging out like, are you okay? Like, 10 of Swords looks rough, and I'm not saying that it's not. Well, 10 of Swords is a moment, and it is the end of the pain, right? So 10 of Swords, like, when there's a 10 of Swords moment like this in the traditional tarot, the person's like bleeding and it's a little gnarly, and they have this like spilt soda. And so I feel like the spilt soda is like the perfect analogy for it, that like once you spill the soda, it's spilt. Like, it's not going to spill anymore, right? That it's been knocked over and it's all coming out, and all you can do is start cleaning it up, right? It's not, it's in my brain, it's like binary, right? Like ones and zeros, like a light switch. It's on or off. Like when you turn the light on, it's either on or it's off. It's not kind of halfway, you know what I mean? Like, because that's the way the energy of it works. It's the same thing with the 10 of Swords. It's either right before the pain, or it's that the pain has happened and now we move on from it. And so this is the thing that might be unseen to you, or it might be something that you've just been dealing with internally that people don't know, that like you had something really painful happen, but you're moving on from it. Like I would say that you are pretty much fully over it. Like I would say like 93% done. And so I feel like as you continue to heal more, like you're ready to kind of get out there and start dating again. And so the thing that I think is becoming evident to you, but you're resistant to it, which is why this is in the reverse, is the Six of Wands. And so, the card that was the choosing card was this Five of Wands. After that is the Six of Wands. And so this shows progression, because, we have this drama and we have this fighting. It looks like fighting, but it's really not. It's literally like kids play fighting. And you can see that nobody's really hurt. Like there's no blood, there's no wounding. There's some kind of angry faces and some like weird energy. But I mean, these kids are playing, right? This isn't all out war. This is a little bit of chaos. It's roughhousing. And after that comes this Success card. And so with it being in reverse, I think that there's a little bit of this energy that's lingering, right? Where it's like your mind very much still remembers the pain, because it's not necessarily fresh. Like I think whatever heartbreak or whatever difficulty you went through, like it happened a little while ago. So it's like, it's not fresh to your heart, but it's fresh to your mind. And so with this Six of Wands being in the reverse, like your mind is telling you that like, are you really sure that you're healed all the way? Like, are you really sure? Because I think the mind, I feel like the mind and the ego, like when I say the mind, I'm kind of talking about the ego. And so the ego likes to be comfortable. And so your ego has been in this kind of painful energy for a while, and the pain is predictable, and the predictability is what makes it comfortable. Because it doesn't make sense, right? If I say that your mind wants to stay here and not be here, like if you could choose between the two of them, right? Like you would choose this. Like why would anybody choose these two, when you can choose to like ride a rocking horse and have like happiness and flowers and marshmallows, right? But because our ego is focused on predictability, and comfort comes from predictability. Like your ego is like, are you really sure that you're healed? Are you really sure that you want to move on? Like, are you really sure that you're like strong enough to do this again? And you absolutely are. Like with it being in reverse, like I feel like the ego is kind of pushing you into like a little bit of self-doubt, because it wants to stay here because that's where it's comfortable. But you're absolutely ready. Like when we look at this card, like she's moving towards this energy. And also like if you weren't ready to really kind of become, like to start opening up, start taking off that little blindfold and like being open to seeing the love around you, like you wouldn't be watching this reading, right? So like you're gonna be okay. You can be okay, kid. You can be okay. The understanding for why you kind of had to go through this like chaos is the Wheel of Fortune card. And so the Wheel of Fortune is just this energy about like the wheel always turns, like change is inevitable. Change is always going to happen. We go through these cycles in our lives because, we need to experience things so that we can grow. Right? That like if we, and human beings, like we learn from contrast. Like if we don't ever learn, or if we don't ever experience this chaos and some of this pain and the breaking point, like then we can't really understand like how powerful it is to like succeed and overcome all of this. And so I feel like I don't want to minimize whatever it is that you've been through, because that's, like I would never do that, because it's shitty, and two, it's disrespectful, right? Like we're all on our own journey and we all experience the things that we experience, I believe, because it's for our best, highest good. But as trite as it sounds, like these things happened because it was part of this cycle of life that you're going through. It might be part of like a stage of life that you're in where maybe there's, maybe you're kind of moving away from people, like the types of people that you used to be friends with when you're younger, and you're kind of growing out of this kind of crowd, or your life is changing, or maybe like you're moving away, or any number of things. Like the things that happen in our life don't just affect like one portion of our life, right? So you becoming open to love and open to being open is how the energy feels, right? Like you're not ready to get out there and date, but you're more comfortable with the idea of it, right? You're more comfortable with the possibility of meeting new people. You're more comfortable with having conversations with strangers. And so like these are how the cycles of life, happen. Just like any different phases of life that we go through, right? Like we have relationships and like we have pain and then we heal and then, we feel whole again and we feel positive and we're ready to go out into the world again, and just kind of slay the day. Like this little baby, I don't know what this is. A little baby pharaoh angel. I don't know, but it's adorable. And so, the I guess the bottom line kind of all of this is that like you don't have to worry about controlling everything. With this like Four of Pentacles, like he's got one pentacle in his little crown. He's holding this one very tightly and he's got his feet on top of these two. And there's this feeling of it just feels like control. Like I need to make sure that I have a good handle on all my resources so that even when I'm resting, even when I'm sleeping, even when I have protection around me, even when nobody's around me, I don't have to worry about someone taking something from me. And I think that like the message that's coming through with this is that like you don't have to be as vigilant as your mind tells you against people like this. And so I think when we go through hard experiences with people, one of the byproducts is that like our ego tells us this is just how the world is. This is how everybody is, right? I think because when I put this like super, super close to the camera, it pulls the focus away from everything else. Like you can't see the beauty of this. You can't really like focus in on this. You can't really see this. And so I think that like when we go through hurtful situations, this becomes the focus of what we're able to see. And as we heal, like we operate in the world differently. Even though we can zoom out and see other things, I think the byproduct of it is that we kind of fall into this hypervigilance of, I can't let people hurt my heart anymore. I can't let people take advantage of my time. I can't let people take advantage of my kindness. Like I always have to be focused on and thinking about the fact that this is what my ego tells me people are. And this is not like, yes, there are not great people in the world, but that's not all people. And so the thing that, like, I feel like the big message with this card is that instead of being hyper vigilant to protect yourself against this, maybe open your eyes and see that you successfully learned this lesson, right? So when we're kids and I don't even know if they teach this anymore. I don't have children, but just bear with me. When we're kids and we learn long division, it looks like when you see someone map out like a long division problem, it looks super complicated. And because we don't know, right? All we see is like these like weird symbols and like a line of numbers. And then there's things happening and you cross this out and move this and like, what is happening? And like how there's so much stuff that happens in the background that like we can't really see it because everything's new. And I feel like when we go through this experience, it's all new to us. But when someone goes through and teaches us long division and then they sit next to us, and they work out a problem and they show us like, okay, this is what this line means and this is this, and you take this number and this number does this with that number and you put this one on top. When we have someone that kind of teaches us and explains it to us, then we don't have to be afraid of it anymore, right? It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be our favorite, but we understand how each part works and we learn how to identify it, right? So like if we're working on homework and we see like an 8 and then that weird, symbol and then a 16, it's like, okay, I know this symbol means like there's some kind of like division thing. And I remember when someone taught me this, and like I think I can try to do it myself, and I think I'll be okay. Like it doesn't feel as scary or unfamiliar, and I don't have to do it perfect. I just have to try. And so I say all that to let you know that, like you went through this lesson and you have to give yourself, you don't have to. No, you have to. I'm telling you. You went through this hard lesson and you have to give yourself credit for successfully coming out of it. And because you successfully came out of this difficult interaction in your past, it means that you've learned things. And what your ego is telling you that you learned is that you have to protect yourself against this. That's not the ego. The ego's not like your ego's not your amigo. Like they're not looking out for your best interest. So the lesson that like your ego says is protect everything, but like the lesson that you really learned is that you know exactly what this looks like before it gets to you. That you're not going to forget like the difficult things you went through as a result of interacting with these type of people. And that you don't have to worry about like getting hurt by this again. Because when we think about it in the big scheme of things, like these look similar, right? And I think in a lot of relationship stuff, we can date people and like they'll do something that looks like something hard that happened before. And we're like, oh no. But like not every trigger is a red flag. Not every feeling of anxiety that comes up in us means that we are in imminent danger, right? Like not every emotional, physical, like feedback that we get means that something's wrong, and so like when we have those feelings, that like maybe from far, far, far away, we can see that like there's people with sticks and people with sticks, right? And so it's like from far, far away, it's like, okay, these people have sticks, and like that makes me uncomfortable because in the past, like people with sticks were bad news. But we can take that information and say, okay, in the past, people with sticks they weren't the best, but we don't know exactly what's happening right now. So let's get more information as it comes closer to us. And as it comes closer, we can see there's a big difference. In the past, there was not friendly faces. And this time we have super friendly, and we love super friendly. Like that's a good sign for us. Not friendly, not our favorite. So, okay, there's some differences. Also, like what is happening? Like there's conflict. Like in the past, there's a lot of conflict. Here, it's like, oh, there's harmony. Like everybody's moving in the same direction. Everybody's got their sticks in like a really positive kind of positioning. In the past, it was really chaotic, and so I think like our ego wants to protect us, and it will pull out data that very superficially matches things that happened in the past, and it will tell us to panic, right? Because it wants to be comfortable. And comfort is that people with sticks means that we're going to get hurt, but learning, when we go through, like when we really like learn and grow from what we've been through, like we learn that like no one can take away like our power unless we let them, right? That we don't have to like cling and hold tightly to like our autonomy or we don't have to lock ourselves away to stay safe. That we have the lessons and the knowledge from like what we've learned. We have autonomy. Like we always have the right to say no, thank you. I'm not ready. You seem like a lovely person, but I'm not ready to date yet. It was great to talk to you. Have a nice day. We have all these resources available to us because we succeeded in learning a lesson, that when our ego panics and it says, people with sticks, this is bad, you know, that we have that information to refer back to so that we can gather more data, so that we can look more closely at like these two things and see like, okay, from far away or from a really superficial perspective, yes, people with sticks in the past were scary. Does that mean that these people with sticks are going to be the same as these people? Maybe, maybe not, but we can continue to gather more data, spend more time, learn more about these people, knowing that if this gets too close to this, that we always have the power and the resources and the strength and the autonomy to take our toys and go home. To say, no, thank you. I'm going to go. I need to go back to my support system. I need to go to back to my little safe place. I need to take a nap. I don't have like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to be with this. Or even to say, you know, I'm kind of overwhelmed and I need some time to myself to process some things, to think about things. And that's absolutely okay. So that was thanks for bearing with me through that whole, I feel like that was a very long explanation to let you know that like you need to give yourself more credit for what you've been through. That's what this whole thing is, that you can trust yourself. It's safe to trust yourself. You know, you were in a place where you did not trust yourself and you've been through this and now it's safe to trust yourself. So that's 27 minutes of that. I hope that was okay. I don't know why I'm feeling uncertain around this. Maybe I might be picking up a little bit of your energy around uncertainty with love, and that's okay because I get it. So let's look at some oracle cards for themes for you around love. So this first one is space. So this card is it's just space, right? It's just big open space. And so I think the initial kind of the way it feels, it's like a little bit overwhelming, right? It's a little bit daunting. It's just blackness, which feels weird, right? Because it's like, this is nothing. This is space. This is openness. But before any new thing begins, before any new thing comes into creation, it's nothing, right? And so it feels like you're on the precipice of, like, you're at this really, really fresh start, beginning energy. And I feel like it's like, this feels like a clean slate. This feels like a clean slate that you get to create whatever it is you want for your love life, for your relationships, for like, you get to dictate what it is that you need and what it is that you like and what it is that you don't like, and to just kind of be with not being sure what some of those things are. That, like, this kind of fresh start energy is essentially that you get to make this whatever you want to make this. And I feel like that's really huge. Like, I feel like it feels kind of daunting. It feels like a lot. It feels like I don't know what to do with all that. And, like, you don't have to, because there's no hurry. Like, there's not a time limit. Like, there's no rush for anything. It's like, I feel like this is like, take your time and figure out what it is that you want and you don't want, and that you liked about past relationships and that, like, you didn't like, and like the things that you see that look appealing and the things that you see that don't look appealing, and just having this space to kind of create something new. This feels like if you've ever seen those, like, baking videos where there's a a guy, I think he's French, but he might not be. I think he's European, but he's like a pastry chef, and he'll be in this kind of, it looks like a commercial kitchen, and there's like a stainless steel bench, and like at first it's just him and there's nothing. And so then he'll take some ingredient, usually it's like flour, and he'll put it, you know, on the board, and then he takes a bowl and kind of pushes it into the flour to make a bowl out of the flour, puts the eggs in. But this feels like that energy of him standing in front of this stainless steel counter where it's like there's nothing, there's just space for him to create. There's like a clean new space for him to create whatever he's going to create, right? Maybe he's going to make croissants, maybe he's going to make I don't know, like truffles, maybe he's going to make muffins or scones. Like, we don't know what he's going to make because it's this blank slate, it's this blank canvas, it's a fresh start. So I feel like that is the energy that you're stepping into, and it feels really like, it feels exciting and tingly, and it feels like the energy of it feels really big, but it doesn't feel like the, like, you know how sometimes things happen and our ego's like, oh my God, that's a big deal. You know, like, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like tingly, like in my body, like kind of in my soul. It feels like, whew, this is big. And like, this is okay. Okay. So yeah, this is super positive. The next card I have for you is a Power of Love Oracle card. And so the message is individuality. You leave your unique stamp of love on everything that you do, which is beautiful. Like, you just leave, it's like your specialness is like glitter, and you just just flinging it everywhere you go. And I feel like that's something that people really enjoy about you. Like, even people that you don't know, like in the interactions that they have with you, it's like, you know, like it could be something really brief, like maybe you're at the grocery store and you just are chatting with the person, then you take your stuff and you leave, and they might not say it to anybody, but in their mind or kind of in their heart, in their energy, it's like, wow, that was lovely. Like, that was just lovely. And so I feel like that's just a beautiful, beautiful energy, like a lovely thing to like leave, you know, to leave behind. It's almost like this energetic like scent that you leave behind. It's like a, you know, when like someone wears like their signature perfume or cologne, and it's like maybe you walk by them, or like you come into a room where they were before, and it's like, oh, such and such was here. It's almost like that, like, oh, group one's energy was here. Like, this is really lovely. So these next two cards are what needs to be released for this new love to come in. And the first card is death. I am learning that endings are merely beginnings. Yeah. So I feel like that very much, like this death card very much resonates with this 10 of Swords, this ending, you know, that that once you have healed from this, and once you're done kind of processing this, then that creates the space for like new love to come in. That's when like that Wheel of Fortune can really turn. And so, like I said before, like there's no rush. This kind of space and death is very much the same energy, right? That like once we clear out, you know, all that old stuff, it creates this void, this blank slate, this blank space. And, you know, that hard ending from the past allows this new beginning to happen. So you're being encouraged to just, you know, finish processing, like, and when you're ready, release that old cycle. Really like releasing this old cycle. Next is a Power of Surrender card. And so the message is surrender to your intuition. Tune into your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, or aha moments that come through to guide you. So I feel like this new energy, like this kind of tuning in, we've got this little, you know, coin on the crown chakra, eyes are closed in both these cards, kind of a meditative state in a way, and just kind of allowing yourself to tune into your intuition, like listening to your higher source of information, God, source, spirit, universe, whatever you call it, to receive that guidance instead of allowing your ego to kind of control the narrative of like, oh, this is the worst. Next, I have messages from your future lover. So let me see. I think I want to put think I want to put these here. Put those there. Okay, and then that gives us room for these guys here. So I pulled a tarot card from your person, which is the Two of Wands. And so this Two of Wands card is really about, you know, like they're ready for you. Like they've been looking for you, and you know, I feel like it's just super sweet and adorable, which is why I'm giggling, because it's like this person, like they know that you are out here, like they know that you're out in the world, and they know that when you are ready, they will find you. But they don't have any, they don't have any issues about like distance. Like it doesn't, like there's no barriers, right? Like, so this person is like, okay, well, you live in a different country. Like, I guess I'll just move. Like, you know, and this person's like, oh, like it's long distance and we need to travel. Okay, well, I'll just get a second job and I'll just use that, you know, that money to pay for, you know, plane tickets for you to come here, for me to go there. Like, it's, you know, like it's not a big deal. It's like it feels like in my heart chakra, it feels like a little bit of a pull. Like they know that like you are out there, and they know that when they find you, they will know that it's you. And they're ready for when the connection happens. It's almost like they have been pre-planning it in a way, which kind of sounds weird, but it's almost like, it makes me think of like like software and like coding. And so if you're familiar with like computer programming, like there's this concept of if then. And so like when you're programming, you can put into your code, if X happens, then Y happens. And so like you substitute X for Y, right? So let's say if you had like a e-commerce business, if someone purchases a tarot card reading, then an email is sent to them to let them know it'll take 24 hours or like something like that. Or even like more simple as like an ATM machine. If the person, you know, puts in the correct PIN for the card that's in the machine, then we will show them the options to like withdraw, deposit, get their balance. So like with the pre-planning of your person, it feels like the pre-planning is an if then. So like if I meet them and I know that the connection is right and I know that it's this person, then I'll implement my plan, which is to like I said, like get a second job so I can afford plane tickets to go visit them, or I can afford to like have them come out here. Or like if I, you know, meet my person, and I know that this is my person, then, you know, I'm going to ask them about this, or like, if this, then that. And so this Two of Wands is very much about like making plans, like looking at life and like looking ahead to the future and like kind of starting that journey, but there's not a trigger, a catalyst yet for them to start because they haven't met you. But they're very much like, you know, they're very much like not looking like, they don't go out to like bars and like, is that group number one? Is that group number one? Like they're very connected to like energy in their heart, you know? And so like they're always open for their like heart chakra and their intuition to be looking for you. Like they're always open to like whatever messages they need to hear from their higher power about like what they need to do to be in alignment with you. And so I feel like this is just like really beautiful energy, because like this is you, you know, and this is them, and you're just gonna be going around, you know, you're gonna be having an amazing life, you're gonna be doing the succeeding, you know, you're just gonna be surrounded by like really good people, and they are going to see you. Like I don't feel like you're going to find them. I think they're gonna approach you. I think they're gonna see you before you see them. And I think that like they're very patient. Like they are not in a hurry. They do not want to scare you away. Like they're very, very observant. And so, you know, they, yeah, they're very just their energy feels like very calm. They're very patient. Like if they know that you're their person, like when they know that you're their person, it's like, okay, I found my person, and like now I just enjoy my time with them. You know, like they don't have an agenda. Like they're not like, when I meet my person, we have to get married. We have to have kids. We have to do this. They have to move here. We have they nope. They're just like, the goal is like, and I feel like it's a weird way to say it because like love is not a goal, but I mean, it kind of is, right? Because a lot of us are like, oh, I'd love to get married. I'd love to, you know, have a family, or I'd love to have a partner. I'd love to whatever, you know, with relationships. And so like for them, it's like they just want to get to be with you. And like everything else is golden, right? Like even like, sorry, this made me laugh because it feels a little bit annoying. Like even in the times that you guys have like arguments, they're still gonna be like, this is like, I'm so grateful that so grateful I get to argue with my person, which sounds ridiculous, but I think for them it's like they have known that you are out there for so long that like once they find you and they know that it's you, they're just like, this is the best. Like this is like, and you know, they wouldn't say this to anybody. You know, they wouldn't be like, oh, the best thing happened today. Like group number 1 and I got into our first argument. You know, I think like it will come up because, you know, like you might be really frustrated about something, or you might be really like upset, and it's like, why aren't you upset about this? You know, like how are you not upset by this? And they're just like, I just get to be with you, and like everything else doesn't really matter, you know? And so it's almost like, I don't want to say it's crazy making because it's not, but it's just like, bro, come on. You know, like I'm mad about this, and now like you're just so happy that like I'm in your life, and now this feels trivial, which maybe it is, you know, maybe it is. And so like just this, it's just it's adorable, and I love it. Okay, so that's just card number 1 from your person. The next card I have is a Divine Beloved card. Okay, sorry. Uniqueness. I accept my own nature. And so the message is, change me, Divine Beloved, into one who embraces my own uniqueness. Let me accept my own nature completely, knowing it too is divine. May I love myself as I am, not as others say I should be. And so I feel like these two together, like, come on. That, you know, like you are very much an individual, and they are learning how to love their own uniqueness, their own individuality. So I feel like there's a lot of really beautiful, I don't even want to say healing in the relationship, like, because it's not like struggling with our uniqueness is not, it's not a wound, but I think that like, it's like, because you are so comfortable with your individuality and they are learning how to accept the uniqueness about them, like your love is going to heal any concerns they have around like being a little bit quirky, being a little bit different, right? Because if they can be loved by someone who is so much an individual and who's so like magical to them, then like that, in their mind, that means that like the kind of things that make them unique or quirky or weird or different or strange, because I feel like people have called them that. Like if this magical unicorn of a person can love them despite all these things that other people have rejected them about, then they must be a pretty okay person, you know? And so I feel like just this, it's just like a really beautiful connection. It's a really beautiful union, and it makes me think of, or it makes me like see the connection with these two, because like if you look at them, they both have little plants on them, but they look very different, right? Like green and orange are obviously different colors. Like a clover is different than a flower. There's one versus two. Like there's a lot of superficial differences, but like between the two of them, like they're both little Care Bears with plants on them. Most of the Care Bears, I don't know if there's any other ones that have plants on them. And so it's like we are both unique and different from each other, but we're very much the same. So I feel like that's the energy that you guys have in this union, in this relationship. It's just really tender and lovely and beautiful and sweet, and I love it. And then lastly, I have 3 cards from them, from this Cupid's Oracle, Cupid's Arrow Oracle. The first one is a new opportunity. So insights gained from a new experience, job, or partner. So sounds like you're going to learn some things from them. Maybe get a new opportunity. I wonder if like a new opportunity is how they're going to see you, right? That like maybe you get a new job somewhere, or like you try a new hobby, or even like in this healing, you have a new insight about something, and that's kind of what tips you for the healing, to really be open to allowing them to come in. The next card is strength, determination, perseverance, and self-discovery. Where can I put this? Let me see. Okay. And then this last one is release. Release grudges, wounds, and pent-up feelings through healthy activities. Okay. I like that for over here. I'm gonna put this. Yep. Put this here. We're just gonna cover up that we've been through that. We're ready for something new. So yeah, group number 1, this has been your singles love reading. Sorry, I didn't realize those are out of frame. So I hope that you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed doing this love reading for you. I don't usually do love readings, but this was just so fun. And I just want to say thank you for letting me read cards for you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would love it if you would like and subscribe. I would especially love it if you would leave me a comment and let me know, like, if there was like some part of this that like really like just that really resonated for you, right? Like if it was my 27-minute explanation about how, you have learned from what you've been through, and like this won't sneak up on you again. Or if it was hearing about your person. I think hearing about your person was my favorite part. But this isn't about me. This is about you. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 2. So if you chose this 8 of Wands and this little, I'm gonna call it Care Bear. I don't know what its name is, but it looks cheery and sweet. This is your reading. So I pulled cards for you from the Good Karma Tarot, and I've also pulled cards for a message from your future lover. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's look at your tarot cards first. Okay, interesting. So we have a lot of reversals here. Reversals are not necessarily a bad thing. I know that like the inclination is like whenever we see cards that are reversed, it's like, uh-oh, what's going on? They're upside down, like they're not right. But it's gonna be okay. So looking at this first card, this is the Knight of Wands in reverse. When we flip it upright, we've got a person that's kind of looking ahead, and knights are about action. Knight of Wands is about action. Knights are about taking action quickly. The Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight in the tarot. He's the second fastest. And so with this card in the reverse and also facing you, because I feel like this is your energy. Like you are ready. Like, let's go. I'm ready to date. I'm ready to find the love of my life. Like, let's go. The Knight of Wands in reverse is a little bit of kind of impulsive energy. And so it feels like you're in a hurry, and sometimes when we are trying to do things too quickly, we can have accidents. We can make not great decisions for ourselves. And so I say that because the next card is the Nine of Coins. This card in the upright represents independence, and so we've got this individual here, and they have all this abundance, like all of these flowers or pentacles, like they have more they have more sunflowers, more daisies than they need. They've got things in this basket. They have a home. There's this sunshine and positivity around them. They even have a little pentacle around their neck. So the Nine of Coins represents just someone that is self-sufficient. With it in the reverse, followed by this 10 of Coins in reverse, like that's what feels to me like this reverse energy feels like being in too much of a hurry. It's almost like the point of dating to you is so that you don't have to be alone, but also to get what it is that you want. And this 10 of Coins is a happily ever after. And, like everybody's happily ever after looks different. Like obviously in this one, there's like this abundance. There's an abundance of love and family. There's an abundance of like riches, prosperity, fortune, time, energy, like all of the things. With this in reverse, and actually like this whole kind of storyline, what it feels like is that like you view love as a to-do list. I need to find a partner so that I'm not alone, so that I can start a family and start the life that I want. Like this is, like it's almost like the partner is a means to an end. And with this Justice reverse card, like, the Justice card is about balance. We've got the two scales here. She's holding the sword very evenly. Like swords are words, thoughts, mindset, how we communicate. And so she's holding it in a very balanced way, right? Like she's not wielding this sword like she's going to slash through someone. She's not going to poke them in the eye. Like she's holding it because she's ready to use it, and she's ready to use it in the appropriate way. Because it's reversed, like the message that I'm getting, and I feel like this is kind of, it might be a little bit hard to hear. So I'm going to be as gentle as I can. The way that you are approaching love is out of balance. And with this World card following, like the World card represents the ending of a cycle. And so, when we look at the card, like she's looking back at this imbalance. She's kind of looking back at you. And like what this tells me is that you're at a place where it might be as a result of this reading. It might be as a result of like just an experience that you've been through. It could either be self-reflection. It could be like going on another unsuccessful date. But you're at a point where you are able to reflect back, to look back on things that have happened, and to see that the way that you've been approaching love and dating is completely out of balance. Because you can find a partner just for the sake of not being alone, and you can expect that they will want the same things that you want, or you can expect that you can make them or convince them to want what it is that you want. Because I feel like this happens a lot in relationships, right? That like when we look at like relationships and like the energy of two people that choose to come together, a lot of times, like we will look for a partner that has qualities that we don't have. So maybe like you are outgoing, outspoken, really fun, life of the party, and you attract someone that is maybe a little bit more introverted. They're used to kind of a quiet life. They don't really like being around people, and so you're not necessarily on the same page, but maybe they want to be more outgoing. Like maybe they want to be around people because they think that's what they're supposed to do. And so they're attracted to you, and, you guys spend time together. And unfortunately, over time, what you realize is that like Maybe they're trying to make themselves be more like you, but they're really unhappy. Or you do this the same, like you try to be more introverted, you try to be more of a homebody, you try to not go out and like spend a lot of time with all your friends, and you become unhappy. And so it's like, we can always find someone, we can settle for someone, but if we're doing it to run away from being alone, that's not really a good. I feel like good is subjective. It's not the best energetic intention to create a relationship with someone from, right? Like, if it reminds me of the saying, the only way to get over someone is to get under someone else, right? Which, like, we all know that doesn't work, right? It maybe is like a temporary distraction, but like it kind of just makes more problems than like are needed, because really the issue is not like that we need to find someone. The issue is the discomfort around being alone, right? And so like until you can get comfortable with like what independence looks like to you, until you can get comfortable with like being in your own time and like energy, you will continue to kind of cycle through dating people that ultimately don't fulfill what it is that you want in love, And I think there's a part of you that is like, I want the, white picket fence and like the beautiful home and like the two kids and the dog, and I want this person to be like this integrated part of my family where like my family loves them. And like that's a really wholesome thing to want, but I feel like that can only happen with the right person when you have become the right person, right? Because like, not to say that you're the wrong person right now, like that's not what I mean. Like maybe a better way to say it is like when you are approaching love with the right intentions, because if your intention is to build a life with someone, then like what creates long-lasting relationships in our lives? Like there needs to be like similar values, right? So if you just find someone and they don't want to have kids, but you want a family more than anything, that's a values conflict. Like you're not on the same page. So like, how can you ever have this if they don't want this, right? So like, how are you ever going to find like your happily ever after if you're settling for someone that doesn't want the same things as you, because you haven't gotten comfortable with what it is that you want? And so like this justice in reverse, it's just kind of signaling that like you're becoming very aware that like things are out of balance for you as far as like how you're approaching dating, how you're approaching love. But like the more you dig into that and the more that you really look at like why you are afraid to be alone, and part of it feels like you have this fear that you're going to be alone forever. And I think that there's a lot of that, like, that is kind of in society, that like relationships, like human connection has been really, really hard since 2020. Whether it's like that we are finding it more difficult to meet people, or if we're just kind of seeing like this strife that's like in the media and on TV and like around the world, like it feels like connection is very, very difficult. And I think there's a part of you that is really, really fearful that like you're going to end up alone and that like you'll never have this dream come true. And so that's not going to happen. Like I don't have a logical way to like make this make sense, but like what came in is like that's not how it works for you. Like that God, source, spirit, universe doesn't give you a dream and put it in your heart for you to live your whole life like not having that become fulfilled. We have to go through things like it's not, we have to be prepared to receive this. Because it's not like we can't just be like, I want the thing, and this, and like this gets Amazon Prime to our front doorstep. Like it doesn't, it doesn't work that way, that, this dream is going to fuel you in doing the work to make the change to end the cycle, So I think just kind of confronting like what the fear of being alone is, right? Because there's an underlying thing around this. Like, you're not afraid of being alone because you're afraid of being alone. I think you're afraid that you're going to end up alone, and that scares you because your mind is making it mean XYZ. Right? And so this is really kind of some shadow work. Like when we look at justice, it's the dark and the light. There's a balance, right? Where I think that this energy is very much you, like on, and even, this big smile, right? Like people that don't know you, or people that, even people that do know you, like they see you very much as this like happy, shiny, happy people kind of energy. But, just like all people, like we have different sides to us that need to be integrated. And this fear, like really kind of sitting with like what it is that you're afraid of about being alone is a little bit of that shadow work, right? Because like there are a number of reasons why people are afraid of ending up alone, right? And on the surface it might be like, okay, if I end up alone, then I don't get to have this dream fulfilled. And it's like, well, that's we already talked about that. Like that's not going to happen. This dream is going to happen, but like you have to get clear on why it is that like you're kind of taking this impulsive action to get here, because the impulsive action isn't going to get you here. Working through what it is that you're afraid of about being alone is what is going to get you here. So like, are you afraid that you're going to be alone forever? And then that means like, and that your ego is making it mean that like you're not lovable, or that you're not attractive, or that, I don't know, like we all have underlying stuff for our fears, right? And so the encouragement is to kind of look at that, and it can be something as simple as like, I will give a personal example, like, because I was in this energy for like a long time, like probably I would say like 8 years after I got divorced. I was very much like, I have to get married again. I have to meet someone. I have to have kids. I have to do this. I have to do that. And there was a fear that like, there was a fear of being alone because I held the belief that I can't survive by myself. And the really kind of strange thing about it is that like, I was surviving by myself for those 8 years that I was afraid that I wasn't going to survive by myself. So after I got divorced, I was in the military. Like I got stationed overseas. And so I moved overseas, obviously the military moved me, but like I moved overseas by myself. I was single. I don't have children. Like I literally moved to a foreign country to a new job with like all new people by myself. I didn't know anybody there. And if that's not surviving by yourself, like, I don't know what is, right? Yes, I had systems that were supporting me, but like, I literally moved to a different country where I didn't speak the language and I didn't know anybody. And I just like showed up at my job. Like, I didn't have a car for the first month. Like, I would just kind of like walk everywhere, which was like super fun because Germany is made for that. Also, I got there in the summer, so just very, it was very pleasant. But, it took me years to reflect back on like what it is that I was afraid, like to really dig in and do the shadow work around like what it is that I was afraid of. And then to also kind of see that like fear doesn't make sense, right? That like I was so afraid that I wouldn't be able to survive by myself, but that's exactly what I was doing. And like, it was hard. It was like weird and hard, and I had culture shock, and like, it also wasn't the worst thing I've ever experienced. right? That like in those moments it was extremely uncomfortable because I had never lived in a different country, but it shifted my perspective on so many things. You know, it brought me this huge gratitude for my mom who moved to America to be with my dad from Thailand, didn't speak the language, didn't know anybody, you know. And so it kind of helped me to develop like a lot more compassion for her situation, and it also stretched me and grew me and changed me. And I share all that because if we aren't able to look at the underlying fear, or the underlying reasons for why we have fear, it just kind of it plays like it just plays in our mind, like kind of like a song that gets stuck in our head, and it's not even logical. So it's like the thing that you might be afraid of, like that underlying fear that you might have, once you actually look at it and you shine a light on it, you might find that it's not true. It's not accurate. And I think that like when we're able to see that like, oh, I actually have been surviving all by myself, and like one, I didn't realize I could do that. Two, look at me. And three, this actually isn't as bad as my brain made it out to be. And that, okay, now I can move on from it. Like, it's fine. And so with this Eight of Wands, like I feel like you're going to be able, like once you are able to kind of pinpoint what that fear is, it's going to happen really quickly. Like you're going to be able to shift the way that you see relationships, the way that you approach relationships, the way that you be in relationship. And also you're going to be able to close out this cycle of just trying to find a person to make this happen. Yeah. So this has been like the tarot part of your love reading. So let's look at, excuse me, let's look at some of the themes for you around love. Move these. Okay. Oh, so we've got faith. And I feel like this is very much connected to this happily ever after card, that, you know, in the times that that fear gets really loud and you're really worried that this is not going to happen, you're being encouraged to have faith. You know, like I said, like the God, source, spirit, universe wouldn't plant such a strong dream in your heart if it wasn't going to happen. But also, like, you know, you can't Amazon Prime a family, a perfect, perfect fully formed life to your front doorstep. So you're being encouraged to to have faith, right? And I love like the circles here. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so we've got 8, again, 8. So 8, 9, 10 coins. So I feel like it's your faith is going to carry you through this journey. Yeah. And like just lots of circles, like the circle imagery. She's got the circle of the light behind her. She's got the circle of the globe. Yeah, I love it. Okay, and so this next card is from the Power of Love deck, and the message is virtue. You acknowledge your loving spiritual attributes that encourage others to grow. I'll put this here with these flowers. Yeah, that you're like, I feel like you're an encourager. And you're a creator, like you're, it's giving me a lot of Queen of Pentacles energy. Like the Queen of Pentacles, I feel like is Mother Earth, able to grow things like green thumb. And you might not be like a plants person, but like you are, there's a saying there's different, like when you look at teams, like there's different roles that each team plays. Like you have an initiator and you have like a refiner, and you have like just different things. And I feel like your role in like human interactions is to like almost like a propeller, you know, that like you add momentum to get things going, to lift things off the ground. So like I feel like encourager isn't, you know, because I feel like encouragement is like, you did great, and like that's not giving you enough credit for like what your energy is. Like you are a propeller, like you are this mechanism that helps to use the elements around you to create this liftoff. Like the way a propeller like pulls in the air and helps move the plane forward so that it can actually get enough speed to take off. Like I feel like you are a propeller, which doesn't sound fabulous, but I feel like it is, because if a plane didn't have a propeller, or like maybe it's a carbine on like really big, I don't know plane parts, but like the part that does the spinny part, that's you. And like if there was not a propeller on a plane, like it couldn't get the speed and momentum and lift to be able to take off. So that's your superpower. Who doesn't want that? I think that's amazing, because I think you're amazing. So these next two cards are what needs to be released for love to come in. So let's see. Okay. So the message is courage. I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. So I'm going to put this one here, because we talked about, like you're being encouraged to release that fear, and that you have the faith, you have the courage to do that, to kind of look at those scary parts. Like you're supported and held, especially with these two cards are major arcana cards. And so these are like major arcana cards are significant energies, like the 8 of Wands, Knight of Wands, 9 of Coins, 10 of Coins. These are all kind of everyday kind of life energies, like these are like the ingredients, like each ingredient kind of builds on the other. Like I feel like major arcana are more like the key parts to the dish, right? So like if you're baking something, it's like you need eggs and flour, right? Like pretty much the principles of baking are that you need eggs and flour. Like you can't really make anything, without these two ingredients, because, one is the structure, one is the binding. And so like these are major like energies in chapters of our lives, in lifetimes. Like this is big, shifting energy. It's almost, to me, it feels almost like kind of quantum leaping because of the speed of this, that like once you are able to, face these fears and you rebalance the way you look at relationships and you end this cycle, there's going to be a point in time when you reflect back on this kind of impulsive energy, and it's going to feel like, man, that was lifetimes ago. Like that feels like decades ago. Like it's so, I feel like it's going to feel like it's so crazy that like this is how I operated, because I didn't realize how much fear was controlling me. Like it just feels like very significant. So this next card is a Power of Surrender card, and the message is surrender negative thinking. You have control over your thoughts. When negative thoughts surface, say thank you for sharing and quickly refocus on positive affirmations. So I feel like this, let me scoot these over. I feel like this very much connects to that kind of impulsiveness, that apprehension, because I think that fear is like, no, we have to hurry up and pick a person. We have like, just pick somebody, pick anybody, hurry up. We got to do this. And these two energies are encouraging you to confront those fears, because you deserve so much more than just a person, right? Like you deserve a partner, you deserve a family, you deserve a soulmate. Yeah. And that's really what your heart wants. It's what your soul wants. So now let's look at messages from your person. So I've got a tarot card for them. Okay. So this is Strength in reverse. This person could be a Leo. The Strength card represents Leo. With it being in the reverse, I almost feel like this. Okay, sorry, this is weird. I just heard the Transformers theme song in my head, More Than Meets the Eye. So like when you meet this person, unfortunately, you are going to judge a book by its cover, and you are not going to see who this person really is. You're going to see what they look like to you. And based on your first impression, like I feel like you're not going to be impressed, and like you're going to feel like this is not who I thought they were. This is not how this is supposed to be. Like, what is happening? And I feel like that negative thinking and that fear is really like, it's going to be loud, you know? And I feel like one of the really important things about like acknowledging that those negative thoughts and just saying thank you and kind of pushing them away is that most of the time, like ego and fear are so loud and our intuition is so quiet. God's source spirit doesn't scream at us. But what does scream is that fear, the negative thinking, right? So when you meet your person, when you meet your future lover, I feel like there's going to be this attraction, but your mind is going to say it doesn't make sense. Why are you drawn to them? Like, they don't look like what we thought they should look like. They don't even seem to like this. They don't seem to like that. They don't seem. There's going to be a lot of like assumptions that your fear and your ego are going to make about this person. And so what I will encourage you to do, regardless of who you decide to date, is to look at the facts about the person in relation to what your values are and how their words, actions, behavior matches with your values as well as what they tell you. So if let's say that you're dating someone, you go on a couple dates with someone and there's like this and the attraction to them doesn't feel like, oh wow, they're like super hot and I want to like hop in the sack with them. It feels like a pull. Like it feels like a magnetism in a way. It's not super strong, but it's strong enough that you notice it. And it's strong enough that like your ego is like, that doesn't make sense. That's not our type. That's not what we're looking for. That's not this, whatever. Like very loud, anxious, nonsensical fear chatter. When I say to look for the facts of your values, let's say that like one of the things that you value is family. You meet them, go on a date, you feel that kind of magnetic pull, and they don't seem like a family person to you. And maybe to you, like a family person talks about their family nonstop, right? And so they don't seem like a family person. And you're like, like, I feel like there's enough here to go on a second date, just to continue to gather data. And so maybe after the first date, you know, you wait a day or however people do dating, because I don't know. And you reach out and you're like, hey, I usually go hiking on Sunday. Like, would you like to go with me for a hike? And they say, oh, I'd love to, but Sundays, like I have, like that's the day that I spend with my parents. You know, like they're a little bit older and, you know, like they, you know, I like to help them around the house. Like my mom really likes to cook. So I just can't, like, it's a non-negotiable. I can't break that. Well, if that is not a huge value on family, sorry to yell at you, then like, I don't know what is, right? But our ego was like, oh, they don't look like a family person. They don't talk about their family all the time. And like, but you just got this data that like they would love to go hiking with you, but they can't because they have a prior commitment to their family, and their family is so important that they can't break that to go on a date with your adorable ass. So come on. So what I'm saying is don't judge the book by its cover. And also like when that ego fear chatter gets really loud about anybody that you're dating, try to, you know, say thank you. Hold on to the faith that like the dream that you want to happen will happen. Just because there's not an instantaneous like love at first sight feeling doesn't mean you're going to be alone forever. But that, you know, because you've defined what your values are, because you've gotten clear on what it is that you want in a long-term committed relationship, look for like whether or not this person's values align with those things. And like even asking the questions, right? Because it's not like I feel like some dating advice is like, don't ask if people want to have kids on the first date. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. Cause it's like, I feel like wanting to like build a family with someone is it's like a big deal, right? Like, you don't know the stranger well enough, but it's not weird to ask what their relationship is with their family, right? Like, because I feel like a lot of times, like, you can learn a lot of things about people, that, you know, like maybe they're not sure how they feel about kids, but like they love hanging out with their nieces and nephews. Like maybe they're not sure if they would be a good parent, but they really love taking their nieces and nephews camping like a couple times every summer, right? So it's like they obviously value those relationships with children, and maybe they're not at a point where they're ready to have kids yet, but that doesn't mean that they don't want them, you know? So that's why I say like the ego, this kind of ego fear chatter is gonna be, I feel like dating makes it flare up, just for everybody, not just you. And so I'm like, I would just like to encourage you to kind of look at, you know, the facts, like as you're gathering data around this person, which sounds so non-romantic, but for whatever reason, like I feel like this makes sense for you, that like gathering data is, you know, that it's a non-romantic approach to love. But I think that like you're with like this Pentacles energy, like you're not looking for like a Prince Charming to like come in and rescue you from a dragon, you know, like you're looking to like really build a strong foundation with someone, and like that requires really practical perspective on it, right? So yeah, I feel like encouraging you to gather data, especially like to look at the facts when that fear chatter gets really loud. That's what's coming up for me about your person. And so I feel like when I tune into their energy, a lot of people don't see them as someone that's like strong when they first meet them, but this person has like, they have resilience in spades. Like they have so much resilience, and they don't share what they've been through with a lot of people, but like, and the reason they don't share is because when they do share, people are like, oh my gosh, how did you get through that? And it's like, that makes them uncomfortable. Like this person is very, very humble, and having people point out how, what is the word? Like how phenomenal they are, that makes them really uncomfortable, because they feel like there's not anything special about them. Like they are just like everybody else. Like they're just a human trying to figure out how to be a human in this current time on the planet. Like they're just every day they're just trying to do their best. So they don't see, Ben agrees. Like they don't see why someone would think they're a big deal, but in the same token, they also understand that like it takes a lot to make it through what they've made it through. So it's like a very grounded energy, right? Like they are fully aware that the things that they've experienced, a lot of people don't make it through that, but they don't feel like, oh, Ben, I'm in the middle of something, man. They don't feel like, oh, I made it through this and I'm amazing. You know, they're like, I just did my best and I'm still here, you know? So just, this is really, I'm getting very strong silent type with this. So, I have another Oracle card message from your future lover. It's a Divine Beloved card. And so the message is acceptance. I accept myself. Let me love and accept myself as you love me. May I find you shining brightly within my own being. Oh, so I feel like as the two of you like grow closer, like you, especially as you learn more about them, as you learn like the things they do, like this is just real. I'm getting like really strong masculine energy. So like it feels more like a man to me. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but very like self-sufficient, like independent, like strong, like even when things are hard, they don't really complain. But I feel like as you get to know this person more, like you're going to be reflecting back to them all these like amazing things about them. And it's almost like because of your love, they start to see themselves through your eyes. And it's like, wow, like group number 2 loves me for all these reasons. And I think I should love me for those reasons too. And so it's almost like your love for them is going to grow their love for them, which is just it's so beautiful. I just love it. Like, it's so like it's so sweet. I just love it. I love this for y'all. Um yeah, and I also like the imagery here because the hair almost looks like a mane, right? It almost looks like a lion's mane. So I feel like I'm just feeling Leo energy. Also, I want to say Leo is a masculine. Yeah, Leo's a masculine energy in astrology. So fire energy. We got fire energy with you. Yeah, yeah. It feels lovely, lovely. So I also have these Cupid's Arrow Oracle card messages from your person. And the first one is pay attention, look out for signs from the divine, acknowledge red flags. Okay, so put this here with this fellow with the red shirt. They want you to know, your person wants you to know that the universe is going to give you, it's like a game of like Marco Polo or like hot cold, right? Where the universe is going to give you signs, right? So maybe you go on a date with someone and it's like a red flag comes up and it's like, okay, this is not my person. And then like when you start to like date them, there's going to be these ever increasing green flags that come up, right? Like things that like each time you go on a date with them, each time you talk to them, hang out with them, connect with them, it's another positive thing that's telling you to keep going. So, and I feel like this message is coming up because in the times that you grow impatient and you're like, you know, I'm tired of being alone and I just need to meet my person. Like you are very attractive. You're comfortable taking the initiative. Like you will meet a person. And so I feel like one of the things you should pay attention to, one of the ways that universe is going to be like, not for you, is like you'll connect with someone in person, online, whatever. And very early in the conversation, in the connection, there's going to be like a big red flag, right? So it might be like a dick pic. And you're like, no. Because your person they're not going to send that to you. I feel like they're the kind of person, like, even if you ask, they would be like, I don't do that. Like, no, that's not, you know, like I'll come over and you could see it in person, but no, I'm not going to send a picture of that. Like, that's just not who they are. That's not their energy. That's not how they are. And so like the times that you get impatient, or the people that you connect with that are not your person or even not leading you to your person, you're going to get some very early and like indisputable red flags. So on the flip side of that, you can also ask, your angels, God, source, spirit, like, okay, how do I get to my person? Like, what do I need to be doing? Right? Like and is like, even with like working on this fear and negative thinking, like, okay, guides, angels, higher powers, higher beings of the light, like how do I do this? How do I figure this out? Like, this is hard and I don't know what to do. And like, please help me, please show me. Like they're all about it. Can't wait. The next message is apology, forgiveness through mutual understandings. Okay, so I'm going to put this here because I feel like, early on, there's going to be a little bit of tricky communication between the two of you. And so I feel like this is encouraging one of you to apologize and the other one happen, one of you to apologize and the other one to accept the apology, and that this is gonna, you're both gonna be the apologizer, and you're both gonna have to give each other forgiveness. And so I feel like this forgiveness through mutual understandings, like each time you guys have a misunderstanding, it's going to help you grow closer together because of this energy of apologizing and forgiving, right? Because I think when we have misunderstandings, when we have conflict, you know, when someone comes to us pretty early on after it's happened, or even like when it's happening, and says, I'm so sorry, I didn't understand what was happening, and the other person is like, you know, thank you for saying that, like I had the feeling that we were disconnected, and like I absolutely forgive you, and like how do we, what, like, can we talk about what happened? Like, how do we make sure this doesn't happen again? Or like, how do we move on from this? How do we grow from this? How do we learn from this so it doesn't happen again? I feel like that's very much the connection that you guys have. And that like when we have misunderstandings are not a red flag, right? You know, misunderstandings and like even conflict, like those are opportunities for us to really gather more data. Like I know I keep going back to that and it's like very boring and non-romantic, but like when we have conflict with people and we see how they handle those small conflicts, that gives us insight into how they handle big conflicts. The small conflicts that happen between the two of us are a reflection of how we'll handle like bigger conflicts with like situations that happen outside of that relationship. So, you know, as you guys are learning each other and you kind of bump into each other, like that's how it feels. Like it feels like this kind of awkward bumping into each other where it's like, you know, it's almost like there's a really small space and you're trying to move around each other and you know that you're going to bump into each other. And like, as you're bumping, it's like, I'm sorry. And it's like, it's okay. And like, I'm sorry. And it's like, no, it's fine. Like, this is the situation. Like, that's what it feels like, where it's like, as you're growing together, you're going to be bumping into each other, you know, and like, you'll both continue to ask for forgiveness, you know, and to apologize. And you guys will both continue to forgive each other. And it's just it's really beautiful. It's just very beautiful. So this last card is acceptance. Accept past and current situations. Work through issues gracefully. So I don't have enough room. Like I don't have enough room. Yeah, I feel like, let me see, where can I put this little baby? I feel like this is all related as well because you know, as you guys grow together, you know, and like they're learning to accept themselves because of you, like you're learning to accept that like the things that you thought were like a norm in the past in relationships are actually like not the norm, right? And that like in some of the conflicts that you guys have, which are really, really minor, right? That they're very, it's almost like growing pains instead of really conflicts, that like in the growing pains that you guys experience, it's helping to reflect back to you how much you've grown in rebalancing how you see relationships. Because I think what's going to happen is there's going to be some little conflicts that come up in the relationship, and a part of you is going to see it in two different ways, right? Like you're going to see how the old you, the fearful part of you, handled those conflicts in the past, and then you're also going to see how the new you, the healed you, the grown you is able to handle those things now, right? So it almost feels like in the past, maybe like you were really slow to apologize or you were slow to forgive. And now, because like you have done the work to realize like, okay, I'm afraid of being alone because of this underlying fear, and I've resolved that, and I know what it is that I want, and I'm very clear about it. I'm clear about my values, and this person wants the same things that I want, and we are working towards the same goal. So that means that if I want to continue this, I need to figure out a way to work through this with them. And I'm learning to accept that, like, happily ever after does not mean perfect. Happily ever after does not mean that there will never be any kind of misunderstandings or conflicts. Happily ever after does not mean that there will never be growing pains, and that there is a big difference between a misunderstanding and a red flag. And that I've learned this and I know this now, and I accept that like what I was taught before is not accurate or true for me. And I love that, like, really that this is kind of in the center of all of it, right? That like you're looking towards this, but it's also become the center of this reading. That like this is what the energy is always coming back to, the fact that you guys have the same values, you want the same things, and that whatever little kind of conflict happens around it, you know, stuff from the past comes up, misunderstandings come up, old fears come up, that this, you know, having faith that you can build this together is really at the heart of the relationship. And that's so sweet. Like, I just love it. Like, I don't usually do love readings, but these have been a delight. So I just want to thank you for letting me read your cards. Yeah, so group number 2, this has been your love reading, your singles reading. And I hope that you really, really enjoyed it. I know the beginning of it was a little, I tried to be gentle, because I have been there. I get it. Like, I know what it feels like. And like, I just love your reading. I just love it. It's so beautiful. And like this energy, I love that this is at the center. Yeah, so group number 2, that has been your reading. If you enjoyed it, I would love it if you would like and subscribe. I would especially love it if you would comment and let me know if you had a favorite part of this reading. But yeah, I just want to say again, thank you so much for letting me read for you, and thank you for watching. And yeah, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 3. So if you chose this Ace of Cups card and this little sunshine bear, this is your reading. So I have pulled tarot cards for you from the Instarot, as well as a number of oracle decks. And then I've also pulled a message from your person. So we'll get into that in a little bit. So let's take a look at your tarot cards. Okay, move these over. All right. So, this, as you can see, this is a different tarot card. I think it's kind of fun. But looking at your reading, so this Ace of Cups card is about the universe bringing us love. You know, it's an offering of love. We have this kind of hand in the sky with these clouds around it, offering this cup of love. In tarot, the cups represent love, intuition, emotions. So this is being offered to you. But the interesting thing is that what is being offered to you is what you've been trying to manifest. And so the magician, I like this little abracadabra. The magician is able to manifest whatever it is that they want. In the traditional tarot, like the magician has all the elements that are in the tarot kind of surrounding them. So like they'll have a cup, a sword, a wand, and a pentacle. This magician only has the infinity symbol above their head. So like this never-ending ability to manifest whatever it is that they want. And rather carelessly, like this little peace sign in the air, you know, arm up to the sky and then one hand kind of down pointing at the earth. Like they're able to kind of channel this divine energy in a way that they have a connection to source. Like they're very tapped in. They know how to be in alignment, and they also know how to let go once they have decided what they want to manifest. So it looks very carefree, but your energy is very intentional. The interesting thing is that I think you're starting to either grow impatient or kind of doubt yourself, because what you're trying to draw in, it's still loading, right? And so like you kind of feel like, okay, like what's happening? Normally I'm able to manifest things and they happen really quickly. And so I think because you're getting a little bit impatient and you're kind of doubting your ability to manifest, like there's even this part of you that's like, did I lose it? Like, can I not do this anymore? Like, was it just a temporary thing? Like, what happened? And that's not the case. But I think because you're growing a little bit impatient, like it's causing you to like focus a lot more on the thing that you're trying to draw in. And so again, you know, with this magician, like the way that you normally would manifest is that you would send what you want up to God, source, spirit, out to kind of the higher realms, and then you would kind of just let it go and be present in your everyday life, knowing that the universe is going to orchestrate all the things and put all the things in place for this to happen, because you are manifesting a connection with another person, like another human being that has their free will, that has their own things that they're manifesting as well. That's what's taking so long. Like it's really easy energetically when we're tapped in, when we're aligned, when we are able to detach from the wanting of what it is that we desire. It's very easy to manifest things like money, things like a job, things like possessions, things like being put on the right path for something, because it's really those kinds of manifestations are really about us tuning in to be in the right place at the right time to vibrationally match up with what it is that we want. The things that you've manifested in the past, like they didn't have the same energy that another person has. So I feel like when we're trying to manifest a person, there's all these other things that have to kind of come into alignment. And there also is the person's free will, right? Like when we manifest money is just, currency is just an energy. And the energy of money is that it goes where it's wanted, right? So it's kind of like a magnet, you know, in the way that like when you have the opposite sides of the magnet, they're going to draw to each other. There's not anything about like the positive end of the magnet saying like, oh, I don't want to be attracted to the negative end of this magnet, you know, like I don't want to be attracted to my opposite. It's like that's the way the energy works. Like the energy is just going to do what the energy does. And so with human beings, we have free will, right? So there's kind of this, there can be this resistance. There's the opportunity for us to choose or not to choose to follow signs and synchronicities that are given to us. It also takes us time to learn how to hear and receive the messages and also interpret the messages that we're receiving from source. So I feel like you're kind of in this place where like things just aren't moving as fast as you want them to move. And you're really like unsure, right? It's like, okay, well, why is this taking so long? Like, why isn't this happening the way that like it normally does? And just kind of being a little bit frustrated. And even like the way the camera was struggling to focus on this, like it feels like your energy is kind of flip-flopping in a way where it's like, I'm gonna get back into the vibration of what it is that I want and I'm gonna let it go. And then your ego comes in and it's like, but it's taking too long. Like, why can't we just have what we want, you know? And just like the camera is struggling to focus, I feel like you're kind of struggling to focus on how to be in alignment the way that you know you need to be in alignment to manifest what it is that you want. I hope that makes sense. Like you're kind of struggling to be in the energy that you know is the energy that brings you things. And the more you kind of are in that back and forth feeling, like that unfocused feeling, the longer you're going to kind of just be stuck. You know, and like the card says, like being stuck isn't always a bad thing. You know, you might be, you're being asked to wait. Like, just give us a second. Like, just give us a minute. It almost feels like there's there's something going on for your person. Like it might be that they're getting out of a situation. Like they might be needing to like get out of a season of healing that they're in. Like they just might not be ready yet to receive you, because they have some healing to do. The universe wants to make sure that they are able to come to you in their best, highest version, so that they can receive the love that they're wanting, and so that you can receive the love that you're wanting, and also that you can both give each other the love that you are wanting to give to your person. Some of you, it feels like they just, like they're stuck in a situation that has nothing to do with relationships. Like they might be trying to move, but like there's some things that are getting like held up with their move, right? That maybe, I don't know, like maybe they scheduled a date with the movers and then like there was some really bad weather wherever they are. And so they had to get it rescheduled and it's taking longer than expected. And so until they can get packed up, then they can't move to be near where you are so that you guys can meet. It has the same energy of like missing a flight, but not because you did anything wrong. It feels like having like a really tight layover, like a really short layover, and then like some unexpected circumstances came in and it's like they missed that connecting flight through no fault of their own. Like that's the kind of energy, like that's kind of what this like hold up feels like. But like it's gonna work out. Like it's like everything is going to, like you guys are going to come together. You're going to manifest this relationship. Like it's going to come to fruition. The sun is like one of the most positive cards in tarot. It represents new beginnings and like really positive new beginnings, like really positive outcomes. Sunshine, bliss, happy feels. Very cute. It feels like you guys are going to have a lot of fun together. That like, really like whatever you guys do, like there's just like a lot of laughing. I think there's a lot of kind of silliness, playfulness, like it's just a really beautiful positive connection. And like the understanding for like why this is taking some time, kind of why there's delays, is this King of Wands card. And so the King of Wands is someone that is very sure of what they are doing. Like the King of Wands is wise, and deliberate and intentional, and like very committed. So like the King of Wands, like he's not a slow decision maker, but like when, like he looks from the outside, he looks like he moves really fast, but like the King of Wands will make a decision within himself that he's going to do something, right? Like he's going to learn how to golf. And so what the King of Wands will do is he won't tell anybody that he's going to learn to golf. What he will do is that he'll research like things about golf. He'll start watching golf. Maybe start kind of like reading stuff about golfers. He might go to the driving range to just kind of check it out. And then once he decides that he's going to take up golf as a hobby, then he will go and take lessons, and he'll find out which clubs he likes the best before he will buy them, to make sure that when he buys them, he buys the best ones for him, so that he doesn't have to like buy, he doesn't buy like a starter set and then plan to buy a set that's like his like real set. I don't know if that makes sense because I don't golf. And then like something will come up and, maybe there'll be a thing at work and they're like, hey, we're going golfing, but we weren't sure if you golfed. And he's like, yeah, like I took it up like a little while ago. People are like, oh, okay, like he's new to golf. And then you get out there and like you're actually really good at it. And it surprises people because you've never talked about it, right? And then like during the course of the golf day, you're like, yeah, I started taking lessons and like it was something that was interesting and I just really enjoy it. So I play every Sunday, and people are like, oh, we didn't know. And the thing with the King of Wands is like he doesn't talk about stuff. Like he's not, I feel like Knight of Wands, like he will talk a big game and people are like, okay, sure, dude. Like King of Wands, like he's about it, but he doesn't talk about it, you know? And like he's, I feel like a lot of people get surprised by the King of Wands. And so I feel like with your reading, I feel like once the two of you come together, you and your person, like things are going to move really quickly from the outside. Like I feel like from the inside, you both are very, very intentional people. So like when you meet and you guys connect and you both have gotten to the place where you decide that like, okay, this connection has what it is that I want, then you guys are going to have very intentional, deliberate conversations, right? That, you know, you're going to, almost like approach this relationship the way that like maybe like a business partnership would work, where it's like, okay, what are your strengths and your weaknesses? Like what do you bring to the table? What is it that you're looking for? Like do we have a common goal? Is there common ground? Like it's very it almost feels kind of clinical from the outside. Like to you guys, it doesn't feel like that. Like for the both of you, because you guys have very similar energy, like you don't have time to mess around, right? Like and it's not that you're in a hurry, it's not that you're behind. Like I think that like that King of Wands energy is very like, my time and energy are valuable and I don't invest in things that don't have a very high rate of or a very high return on investment. And so that's why it feels kind of like a sort of clinical, like business relationship, like, because most people don't approach love that way. Most people are like, oh, love came in and it's gonna be sunshines and rainbows and like, whatever happens and it'll be great. And like, you guys very much, you know, have this, like, you have a joy for life. And that is because you deeply value yourselves. You deeply value your time, energy, and money. I think from the outside, people kind of see this as like frivolous, but that doesn't really matter because the two of you like understand like the amount of intention and effort that you are willing to put in, because you know that that is required to get what it is that you want. To have a really successful, long-lasting, this feels like marriage. It feels like you guys are looking to get married, to like develop a life together, to grow a life together. Like you guys understand that to have a long-lasting, healthy relationship, it requires a very sturdy foundation, and that requires like work, and that doesn't bother you. I think that sometimes like in relationships, people are like, oh, gross. Like, I don't want to do work. I don't want to, you know, I don't want this to feel like a job. And I agree. I don't think that relationships should feel like a job, but I also don't think that work is like the worst thing in the world. You know, I think that when we look at the system of work that we live in, it really kind of messes up like the meaning and the value of the word work. So like in our current system of work, like you go to a job where you're paid for your time, and essentially like in this current system of work, like someone owns your time and that's how you earn money. It doesn't matter how your time is spent, doesn't matter how productive you are, it doesn't matter even how good you are at what you do. Like you could be terrible at it, but you're there for your 9 hours, so you get a paycheck. And so like that has become like what we know of as work. And I feel like that's more like slavery. And I'm sure that's like, I'm sure that a lot of people are like, you're crazy. Or maybe you're like, you nailed it. I feel like when we are doing work, like if you think about woodworking, you know, like someone that does woodworking, someone that is working with wood is not like, oh God, I have to go and carve this piece of wood and use my skills to make, you know, a really nice piece of furniture. Like this is the worst, you know? No, like people that do woodworking are either, you know, doing it because they're trying to like find something that like brings them joy, like they enjoy creating it, like they're learning a new hobby, like they want to do something creative, or they're doing it because they have so much experience and skill at it that they are able to create these really amazing, beautiful things that people are happy to pay a lot of money for. So that's the perspective that I feel like you guys come from with regards to like doing the work in relationship, that like you both understand that it takes time and experience and knowledge and skill to have healthy relationships with people. But when you bring all of those things together and you are focused on this common goal, that you can like create a really like prosperous and beautiful and healthy and long lasting and secure loving relationship, which I feel like is amazing, because I don't feel like that's common in the world that we live in. I feel like a lot of people kind of approach relationships in life from this like kind of, I don't know, like a jellyfish energy, where it's like, well, I'm just gonna float until I bump into something, and then, or like, oh, if I get tangled up, then well, I'm tangled up in this, and I guess I'm here till I get untangled. And I think some people call that free spirited. I don't think it makes sense, but that's just me. So yeah, that's been the tarot portion of your reading. So just trying to remember, that like in the times that you are having to like wait for your person to come, like when the feelings of impatience come, just remember that you are able to manifest things, like the universe has your back. Like it's like, I'm bringing it, but also like that, like it's not that your person doesn't want to find you, like they are taking care of some things, and I feel like this advice even extends to like when you guys are together, that like there could be times that they're taking care of things and you're like, oh, when is my person going to call me? And it's like group number 3, like they're not ignoring you. Like they're just trying to take care of some things that they need to take care of, so that when they come to spend time with you, they are not distracted with these other things. So, yeah, they want to be with you. They want to enjoy their time with you. When we look at this card, like they're just looking right at you. It's almost like this person has like laser vision, like looking past all this stuff, and like they got their eye on the prize. So, in the times that if you have any uncertainty if this is going to happen, or if you have any kind of insecurity that comes up in the relationship, just remember, like they're focused on you. Even if it doesn't seem like they're focused on you, if it seems that they're like doing something else, they're very focused on you. And in the times that like you're not sure, like it's totally fine for you to ask them. If they're not available for you to ask them, then just think about all the fun things that you guys have done together. And that like the joy that you can see in them when you guys actually get to spend time together. Because I feel like that unsure energy is kind of like this ego fear stuff that's coming up, which I feel like is very natural in relationships, right? When we finally have this thing that we want, there comes like this weird fear about like losing it, and like they're not going anywhere. They are totally focused on you, even when they're out golfing. They're focused on you. So let's look at the themes for you around love. So I have this disruption card. Very interesting. So I feel like this resonates for both of these, that there's some kind of disruption that is happening. It might be that like you're, like I said, like you don't understand why like this isn't happening the way that it's supposed to happen. And like disruptions aren't necessarily like a bad thing, right? That like sometimes like I think as human beings, like we enjoy variety, like we do like predictability, but every once in a while, like having something unexpected come up kind of helps to pull us out of that. It feels like the word doldrum, which is like not really a word that I use. I don't even know if I'm like using it right. I think I am. But it's like those little unexpected disruptions, because I feel like this, like bright pink, like this isn't like a red warning sign, right? This isn't like a stop sign. This is like almost like, it feels like when I lived in San Antonio, I lived in an apartment that was like near SeaWorld, and I didn't know when I first moved there, I didn't know in the summer that like every night they do fireworks. So like the first night that they were doing fireworks, like I thought it was like gunshots because Texas, and San Antonio. And I've been in the military. And so like I kind of was like looking out the windows, like, what is going on? Because I was just like, is someone going to call the cops? Like, what's going on? And so like I looked out the window and I saw fireworks, and it was like, oh, okay. Like this is unexpected, but like it turned out way better than I thought. It was not gunshots. And, the next night when the fireworks went off again, it was like, I knew what it was, right? So it was a disruption to like what I had expected, but it wasn't terrible. And so I feel like that's kind of what this is, where it's like the time that you're just like waiting for, your manifestation to happen, like it kind of creates this disruption. And I feel like the reason that like the disruption is happening is to like remind you that your whole focus cannot be on your person, that like you need to continue to like build your life and enjoy your life and experience things for yourself, while you're waiting for your person. Because I don't know if maybe like in the past, if you get hyper focused on your person, or if like in the past you've been in relationships and you get like consumed by the relationship. But I feel like this disruption and this kind of loading period is coming to help you see that that's not a pattern that's beneficial for you. And actually, like, it's not necessary, that like you fixating on your person and like making sure that they know that you are their whole focus, like that puts a lot of pressure on them. And that's not really how you like keep anybody, because you don't need to keep anybody, like you want the person to choose to be with you, and your person, like once they come in your life and you guys realize that this is the connection that you want, like they're going to be totally focused on you, and you're going to be on their mind even when they are out doing their own things. So it's like you need to have things that you can do as well, like things for you that you enjoy, like friendships and hobbies and things like that. Because that time apart, it's a really beautiful disruption in like your tendency to hyper focus on the other person or on the relationship. The next card I have is from the Power of Love Oracle, and it's the Satisfaction card. So the message says, you let the energy of love guide you to self-approval so that others no longer define who you are. Yeah, and I feel like that really resonates with this card because I don't think that you have had a relationship yet with someone that like you didn't have to fight for their approval. I think a lot of times in relationships, like we want so much to be approved by the person that we're with that like we'll do things that are kind of out of character for us. And so like this time of like disruption, like this time of needing to like focus on yourself and like getting disrupted to refocus and refocus and refocus on yourself, is really kind of pushing you to this place of learning how to approve of yourself, and learning how to be content and satisfied like in the time that you're spending by yourself, so that when they come in, you're not looking for them to approve of you because you already approve of you. That this person is like the cherry on top, that they're not you know, they're not the banana that you're like looking for your banana split. It's like you are already the whole banana split. They're like this extra cherry on top, you know, as well as the person that you get to share it with. So, yeah, I feel like this is really like, this is just really lovely energy, right? Because disruption is like, oh no, like it's disrupting what it is that I want. No, it's disrupting this old pattern that you have where you hyperfixate on making sure the other person likes you and like earning their approval and earning their love, when like that's not how this connection's going to work. Like when you guys connect and you know that it's, you know, like you'll know, like you will not miss it, then it's going to be successful. It's going to be really positive. Like there's nothing for you to earn here, because really that's what you manifested, right? Like you're trying to manifest a relationship where you can be accepted by someone for exactly who you are, for your authentic self. And unfortunately, like your old programming, which comes from maybe childhood, society, like if you have watched any rom-coms, your old programming says that like you have to do things to earn love, that you are not inherently lovable. And the disruption is around that programming, that it's like, nope, you are amazing. You're an amazing little burst of sunshine. And, you know, this person's coming in and they cannot wait to be in relationship with you. And you guys are going to have an amazing, fun, silly time being your amazing selves and maybe playing golf. Who knows? So next, I have 2 cards for what needs to be released for this love to come in. So the first one is love. I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things. And this also has to do with you. So the thing that you're the thing that needs to be released is that belief that you have to do things to earn love. The thing that needs to be released is that you need approval to be loved. Or to be loved. Like you're being asked to commit to the act of loving yourself while you're waiting, while you're feeling a little bit stuck that your King of Wands hasn't come in this time of like your old programming being disrupted, learning to approve of yourself. Like you're being invited to give yourself lots of love, just lots and lots of love, which is beautiful. Next, I have a Power of Surrender card. Ooh, surrender to miracles. Be open to miracles occurring in your life. Feel and know that these events are real. Let go of any resistance and banish any doubts that miracles can happen. So I'm going to put this right here. In that time that you are waiting, in that time that it's uncomfortable, just surrender that, you know, this miracle is coming. It's going to take a little bit of time, just a little bit of time and patience. Just because it's not here yet does not mean that it's not coming. Yeah. And so I have cards from your person. So let's see what the tarot card is. Ooh, 8 of Wands. I was just talking about fireworks. The countdown to the fireworks display has begun. Who's already, I cannot read today. The countdown to the fireworks display has begun. But okay, I'm going to stop. You can read it. Obviously, I can't read today. I can't read words, but I can read cards. This 8 of Wands, I'm going to put it underneath this King of Wands. 8 of Wands is about really fast action. So like I said, when your person comes into your life and you guys realize that this is the connection that you've been waiting for, it's going to move really fast. It might even move fast for you guys. It's definitely going to move fast for everybody around you. I think the really nice thing about the King of Wands energy and the Magician energy is that like you guys know. Like you both know with every fiber of your being that this is my person, you know. And like when people are doubtful and they're like, are you sure, is this what you want, you know, like both of you are able to essentially kind of go through that sort of clinical business partner list of like, I was looking for this and 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 this, and like for each, you know, value, behavior, habit, whatever it is that you're looking for, you know, it's like you know, your King of Wands is like, I was looking for this. And group number 3 is that they do this, you know, and you're like, I was looking for this. And my King of Wands, you know, it has this or focuses on this or believes in this. So they're ready. They're ready. They're excited. They are not worried. They are not afraid. They know that when they meet the right one, that they will know. Like, and it feels, this is going to sound really, really weird. They know exactly what your energy feels like. And so a lot of times, like because I feel like they're actively dating, I don't feel like they're stuck in a relationship. I don't feel like that's what their stuckness is. There might be some, I feel like your King of Wands is very aware of like the kind of online dating joke about, you know, like how they'll ask people like, are you single? And the person's like, yes. And then they'll ask like, does anyone else think that they're in a relationship with you? You know, and people are like, oh, you know, they are very aware that for some of you, there's an attachment that someone has to them that was created by that other person's kind of delusions or hopes, or like they have not been feeding into it, but this person like is really resistant. They won't let go. Others of you, like this person is a little bit tied up with like non-romantic relationship things, but your person has been dating, and every time that they connect with someone, before they connect with them, it's almost like they tap into your energy so that they know if the new person's energy is you or not. It's almost like, this is going to sound so weird. What I'm seeing in my head is like those paint samples, the little strips of the paint samples, like at the hardware store where it's like 4 different colors of like a baby blue or something. And like you take it, you know, and oops, oh man. Oh, there's cat hair under my Band-Aid. Sorry. Like, it's like the paint samples. Okay. You know what it feels like? It feels like the paint samples that you see in the hardware store where it's like the little segments, like it's like 4 segments of like baby blue, and like you can take the paint samples and like maybe compare it to something, you know, and like hold it up to your wall and see, like that's almost how they tune into your energy. It's like they have, it feels like almost like they have a favorite, let's say they have a favorite sweater, and that is the color that they want the paint. So they take the sweater to the hardware store and they're like looking at the little sample things, and it's like, okay, this is the closest color, so this is what I want to buy. That's how they engage with your energy, if that makes sense. Like they will kind of just tune in to your energy before they have any kind of interaction with someone, and that's how they gauge if that person is you or not. So I feel like that was like a really long explanation for kind of an interesting thing that they do. But like I talked about, like they're very intentional and deliberate. Like they're not here to waste time. They're not here to mess around. Like they are looking for you. And they know how your energy feels. And they also know how your energy makes them feel. So even people they've connected with where they're like, this might be my person, like let me see, let me interact, and it's like, nope, they're not giving me that feeling, like our energy isn't combining to make the right color. No thank you. It was nice to meet you, but you know, like this isn't the connection I'm looking for. So yeah, they are ready, they're excited, they can't wait. So the next card I have for you is from the Divine Beloved Oracle. Ooh. So this card is Desires. I offer all longings to you. Change me, Divine Beloved, to one who offers all longings to you. Let me feel whole, knowing all true needs will be handled. You are my source for all. So I feel like these two energy, this little blissed out sun bliss love energy, like these very much connect. Like they it's almost like this is a message for you and the universe at the same time, that like they're saying to the universe, like, all my desire for this person, I'm giving it to you because I'm trusting that you're going to bring them. But also, once they are with you, instead of surrendering their desires to the universe, they're going to surrender their desires to you, and they're going, and what does that mean, right? What they're going to do is they're going to be very open. Like they're going to share a lot of things with you, right? Like this is the energy of rapid movement, and like these desires, like, we kind of think of like physical intimacy as like the desires, but like this, especially with like this kind of full spectrum of color, this person is a very, like, you're a king of wands, like they're a very integrated, like deeply feeling person. And so the desires that they have, range from like physical desires to like desires about like experiences that they want to have, like places that they want to travel to with you, to like even desires around like who they want to become, like fulfilling like their highest purpose in this lifetime. So this person is like, they're a very deep, intentional person, and I mean, there are things where they're like, that are like kind of not silly or frivolous, but it's like, I don't even know if this is a thing anymore, but like, how they used to do like, and they might still do them, but they used to have those 5Ks where like they would just like throw paint on people or like powdered colors or whatever. Like some of their desires are things like that. Like, yeah, I want to do like a color 5K with you, because I think that would just be fun. And like, I'd love to have those memories and like photos of us like covered in like bright colored paint, or even like, I want to go camping with you in this national park because that's where I saw the most beautiful sunset I've ever seen in my whole life. And I want to have that memory of it with you, all the way to, different things, like even like where they want to live when they retire, and like, how many kids they want to have, like just this full spectrum of like, of desires that they have had for like their own life and like partnership. So just very expansive, very deep, like just your person's just like a really beautiful human being, like inside and out. It's really just lovely and adorable. I love it. So next I have the Cupid's Arrow Oracle card. So the first one is patience. Manifestations are on the way. I can't. You guys. Sorry. Just gonna be over here cackling like a crazy lady because it's so cute. I love reading with a bunch of cards because it just makes it so fun, when like these little things come out and it's like, hold on, it's loading. Like I feel like your manifestation I feel like the universe is trying to like print your manifestation, but like the manifestation printer's not working, and it's like, come on, like group number 3 needs this manifestation, and like the manifestation printer's like, hold on, I'm out of magenta. Sorry, I spent too much time on TikTok. Okay, next Cupid's Arrow Oracle card is denial. Failure to accept a situation, unhealthy cycles, or addictions. Okay, so I feel like this is what we talked about before with, that needing approval, seeking approval from others in relationships that, that is an unhealthy cycle that needs to be disrupted, because you're magical and you're beautiful and you're wonderful, and there's nothing that you need to do to earn love from anyone else. And I'm sorry that that's the programming that that you picked up on and that you've been operating on. I think a lot of us have, but the regularly scheduled programming is being disrupted so that you can love yourself. The universe is going to show you all the reasons that you are extremely lovable so that, that cycle can be broken. So super adorable messages too from your person, where they're like, hey, quit being in denial about how amazing you are, and just learn to love yourself as much as I'm going to love you. And then also, like, hold on, just, can you, I'm on the way. Hold on. Like, just give me 5 minutes. I'm doing my best. I lost my lighter. I can't light my fireworks to take off. And then this last card is Awakening, a realization, shift, or discovery. So I feel like that's, let me see, where can I put this? I feel like that's definitely, sorry, I don't have room for everybody. I'm sorry. I feel like that awakening is, just a part of this disruption, letting go of these old patterns, surrendering to miracles. It's almost like this is like the before and after, right? The before is that, we've got some things to let go of, some things to be disrupted. During this loading stage, it's like maybe you're having that awakening, and that, like, they need you to be patient with them, but also maybe being patient with yourself, that you're like learning a new way. You're having some big thought processes that are being disrupted for your highest, best good, so that you can learn to really love yourself and approve of yourself, which is amazing. I think I'm going to put this little baby right here with the sunshine. Yeah. So group number 3, this has been your love reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, I would love it if you would like and subscribe. I would especially love it if you left me a comment to tell me which part you enjoyed the most. I feel like this was just like, I don't do love readings very often, but this was a delight. Like, this was just so fun and lovely and just really adorable. Like, I love the kind of business partner clinical energy that you guys have together, because, like, there's so much, like, fun and joy and just loveliness on the inside, even though people on the outside don't see it that way. But, like, we don't care what people think about us. We do not care, because you don't need their approval, because you love yourself, because you're amazing. And there's someone coming in that wants to make an amazing life with you. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for letting me read cards for you. And thank you for watching. So I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 4. So if you chose this King of Coins, King of Pentacles card, and this little Share Bear, 2 of Clubs, this is your reading. So I have tarot cards for your just kidding. I have tarot cards for you from the Star Spinner Tarot, and then I also have a message from your person. So we will get into that in a minute. Let's look at your tarot first. Okay. Let's see. What do we have? Okay. So we have this Page of Coins. The choosing card was the King of Coins. When we look at this bunny, he's a little bit upset. It's a little mad, a little frustrated. This Page of Coins is also looking down. I feel like for some reason, I feel like this is your person's energy, and I feel like this is your energy. I feel like both of you have been through some stuff in relationships. And so the things that you guys have been through, like you've had relationships with people that didn't know how to have healthy relationships. Like, that's a big kind of energetic thing that's coming up, I feel like, for both of you. You had relationships with people who didn't, I feel like for them, that didn't appreciate them. For you, didn't know how to appreciate you. Nope. Didn't care to put the effort in to appreciate you. Big difference, there's a big difference between ignorance, not knowing how, and willful disregard, which is not wanting to. I think because of that, you guys both kind of have the same energy about love, that they're a little bit disgruntled about relationships. No, they know what they want. They're disgruntled with the fact that a lot of people don't know what they want when they're dating. That's what frustrates them. That, like they have done a lot of work on themselves. They've done a lot of work to learn about relationships. They've done a lot of work to get clear on what it is that they want. And they get frustrated when they date people who say they know what they want and then they actually don't. Right? Or maybe they don't share it, or it just, when they get the impression that the person they're dating is kind of like confused or like doesn't have any intention like that, they end it like very quickly. And they've gotten to the point in their frustration that like they have just like straight ghosted people because there's this part of them that's like, what's the point? Right? Like, what is the point in me having a conversation with you to let you know that I can tell that you don't know what you want, even though you're telling me that you do know what you want? So either you are not aware that you don't know what you want, or you are aware that you don't know what you want, but you don't want this to end. Either way, I don't have time for it. I don't have any energy for it. I don't want to do this. Your energy, on the other hand, is, you know what you want, but for some reason, you don't believe that you are worthy of like getting it or having it. Like, I think that sometimes in relationships, or sometimes with relationships, like people kind of have these kind of fantasies about what they want and they don't believe that it's out there. This could be me projecting also. That's not the energy that you have. The energy that you have is that what you want, the thing that you desire the most in relationship, you hold it very private and very close because you feel like there's a part of you that thinks that you don't. No, there's a part of you that believes that you don't deserve it. So you don't dare to share it with anyone because you're so afraid that whoever you share it with is going to tell you, you're right, you don't deserve that. And that would crush you. And that would crush anybody because that's so sad and hurtful and hard and also wrong, because you absolutely deserve whatever this sweet, tender, valuable thing is that you want. Whatever this relationship is that you want, like, you deserve it. You don't have to do anything to earn it. Like, just the inherent fact that it is in your heart and it is something that your heart has allowed to like grow and bloom and blossom inside you. It's the fact that you are aware of it means that you are deserving. If it was not meant for you, you would not have tuned into it. You wouldn't be a vibrational match for it. It wouldn't have aligned with you. I'm going to give you a really silly example. I am not very athletic. I've never really been into sports. Playing sports makes me really uncomfortable the few times that I've done it. Except for ultimate frisbee. I used to love ultimate frisbee because you just run and you don't have to worry about anybody like throwing things at you. You don't have to worry about like catching anything. You just like run. Everybody's running. So I don't even like running, but I feel like that was the closest that I got to like being athletic. But I am not a very athletic person. I don't enjoy athletics. And I think because of that, I have never had the dream or the passion or the desire or the inclination to be a professional athlete. That is not a dream that lives in my heart. On the other hand, I have always wanted to like be a writer. Like I've always wanted to I've always loved words. I've always been like really interested in words, and like I enjoy like putting words together and like the kind of nuance of language. And like because of that, like I've started to do some things with writing, like online writing, and you know, considering different avenues to like write for a career. And so when I reflect back on, you know, like when I first started to enjoy writing, I have always loved words. Like I used to do calligraphy. Anytime that I've like made art, there's always some word element to it. You know, and so it's like, oh, like this is something, and like written communication is really easy for me. Like I was always a really good student because I was really good at writing, and I feel like the majority of like college is writing. And so I share all that because I have this passion for writing. I am a vibrational match for writing. That's why it's been easy for me. That's why I enjoy creating around words. That's why I talk so much. And so I share all that to give you some evidence that if this little dream relationship that you have inside your heart was not meant for you, if this little dream relationship you have inside your heart was not something that you deserved, it wouldn't be something that is so like it's almost become like this ingrained part of you. It's something, it's almost like this little seed, you know, that's always with you. It's in you. It's part of you. Because it's so important to you, there's no way that you can't not have it. And I hope that makes sense. And I'm sharing all of that because that belief that like you're not enough and you're not deserving and you can't have what you want, it is really like, it's almost become like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like the belief that you hold that you don't deserve to have this relationship that you know that you want, and you know what it looks like, you know what it feels like, you know what it tastes like you have let yourself live in the energy of it, like be in the fantasy of it, to like think about it and nurture it and like be with it all the time. Like I said, like it's an ingrained part of you, but this belief that you don't deserve it is the thing that is blocking it from coming in. And so this Eight of Cups is about leaving something behind. And that belief that you don't deserve this amazing, beautiful, special love is what you have to leave behind. Because if you can't detach from that belief that you don't deserve it, then you'll just continue to not get it, not have it, because our belief systems are so strong that they will drive our action and our choices and our behavior to align with and uphold those beliefs. I feel like these two cards, like they look very similar, right? We have these two nude women. They're facing the same direction. They're kind of sitting alone. You know, there's kind of some self-comforting that's happening, right? She's got her kind of hands over her, chest and upper torso, like she's kind of holding herself like enclosed. This woman has a hand over her heart, like she's trying to comfort herself. And, this world card is about the ending of cycles, like completing something. So, like this cycle of you trying to find the love that you want, believing you don't deserve it, having relationships kind of fall apart or really like never start. Like it feels like anytime you've tried to connect with other people, it almost feels like the energy of like if you've ever used like a gas lawnmower that you have to like pull, like the pull crank, I don't know what it's called, but it's like there's a string, you have to pull it to like jumpstart the motor, and like if you don't do it right, you have to pull it and like hold down the thing. It's been a very long time since I used one of those lawnmowers. I think I was a kid, which is probably why it wasn't working very well for me. But like you have to do a couple of things at the same time, and you have to make sure that the motion gets synced up, because if you don't hold down the handle and crank it at the same time, like it doesn't start, So it feels like you know what you want and you've tried to connect with people, but that overriding belief that you don't deserve it has just created this kind of false start loop where it's like you're trying to reach out for connection, and that belief that you don't deserve this immaculate connection that you want is really just like someone cranking that motor and not holding down the handle to actually keep the motor running. And so like that cycle, it needs to end. Like it just needs to end. And so we've got these 4 little angels that are all kind of, looking at her. These 2 are looking at each other. To me, like this card, the world card is about ending cycles, like completing cycles, but also like there are so many people around you that try so hard to like fill your cup, to fill your belief in yourself, to fill you up, to like remind you why you're amazing, to remind you why you're lovable, to remind you that you can have this love that you want, that there is someone out there for you, and that like you just have to open your heart to them. And I feel like this is you, right? Just like this is you, like these solitary figures are you. These are just different versions of you, right? Like this is a very like intimate, private, inner circle version of you. This is that kind of fear part of you that doesn't believe that, you're worthy. And then this is almost like this integration, right? Where it's like, there's this part of you that's like, there's something bigger for me. And like, I need to start a new chapter. I need a new beginning. I'm done. Like, I'm done with this. I'm done with hiding. I'm done with not believing I deserve it, and I'm ready to be seen. Like this woman is on top of the earth, right? So it's like this really high kind of vantage point to be able to see like, okay, you can see the things you need to change, but also you're comfortable being seen now. Like you're really comfortable being seen in your fullness. And I feel like that's a beautiful place to be. And I love that you just have all this support around you. And so like these 2 people that are looking at you, like they very much feel like sisters or like best friends or family. Like these are very close connections to you. These 2 feel like angels and ancestors. So it's like you've got essentially like these, like it makes me think of the 4 of Wands, which is a card of like partnership, commitment, like just really deep love and care. You've got people here in this realm, like on earth with you that are supporting you. And then you also have like your angels and your higher guides that are up here as well. So it's like it's like everybody's coming together to help group number 4 let go of like this fear, right? Let go of, this belief that you don't deserve it and you're not worthy, because you are, And so I feel like the 2 of you, like you and your person, you have like your energy is the same, where it's like you're not was going to say rejected. That's not the right word. You're not put off by your King of Coins kind of disgruntled demeanor. And like your King of Coins is not put off by any hints of like you not believing that you're deserving of what you want. And there's like this attraction, like the weaknesses that you guys have attract each other. You know, like that your King of Pentacles, your King of Coins loves that you know exactly what you want, and it doesn't concern them that, you know, that you're not sure if you deserve it. And then like you take your King of Pentacles or King of Coins, like kind of disgruntled, gruff demeanor as authenticity and honesty and transparency. And that's very attractive to you. Like that feels safe, like being able to read this person because they're showing this honesty that is like, I feel like in dating, a lot of people hide that, like they want to be like these shiny, happy, like everything's great. And like, this King of Coins is not here to play games, and neither are you, right? And because you guys are the same energy, it feels really positive. I feel like the person that you're drawing in, they might be older, they might just be more experienced in dating and relationships than you are, but I don't feel like there's an imbalance here. I really love this because it's like once you close out the energy, like once you really decide to end this cycle of letting that belief that you don't deserve what it is that you want affect your ability or like your willingness to be seen and to meet people, what comes in is the exact thing that you're holding, right? So it's almost like, she's holding this coin and this is the zoomed in version of it, that the universe is like, oh, great. Now that you have ended this cycle, now that you are open to being seen, now that you are willing to hear from all of your support systems how amazing you are, now I can bring you the dream. Now I can bring you this amazing relationship. Now I can bring this towards you, which I love. This last card is the Seven of Swords. I feel like this is the fear behind, or this is the reason behind the fear, right? So this fear of like not being worthy, is really tied to, and this almost feels like something that happened in the past. Like, I don't know if you had a relationship where you were with someone and they got stolen away. Like if the person that you were with like cheated on you, or because I feel like this might have happened when you were really young. Like if let's say you're in high school and like you had someone that you really liked and like one of your friends like happened to start dating them, or like they met someone that they thought was like better than you and they dumped you and started dating this other person. I feel like these two are tied together. And like with the Seven of Swords, this is pretty shady energy. Like we can see he's stealing these swords, right? And it's in the dark of night. Whoever the swords belong to, they're sleeping in these tents, and this guy's just a sneaky Pete, he's just stealing these swords. And this is an energy that has nothing to do with you, right? Like the things that are for us, this amazing, beautiful relationship that you desire, that lives in your heart, nobody can take this. And so the times that people have chosen to be with someone other than you, the times that people have left you or abandoned you, that's not about you. That is about them. Like the things that people do in the dark will always come to the light. And as you begin to heal and as you begin to release that unworthiness wound, what you're going to do is you're going to get that perspective, right? Because you're at the top of the world. You're going to be able to zoom out and see how the choices that these people made had nothing to do with you. That, when people love and care about us, like they treat us like we are valuable to them, and that like their treatment of us is just a reflection of like the value that exists inside of us, that like we are all valuable and we are all worthy. And just like that dream in your heart is there because you are a vibrational match to it, like the people who don't value us will leave our lives. The people who do value us like are always there. They're not going anywhere, you know? And so the times that like people did things that created this hurt and this pain inside of us, it was a reflection of them. It was not about us. And so I think like a lot of us, like things that happened in the past, excuse me, things that happened to you in the past, just need some time and love and energy to like be healed, you know. And part of that healing is learning that like the things that we're afraid of are not true, and also learning that like the things that people do to us are a reflection of who they are. It's not a reflection of who we are. So that has been your love, you know, the tarot portion of your love reading. So let's look at some of these oracle cards. The first two that I have for you are themes for you around love. Oh, comfort. I feel like when people love us, it should feel comforting. It should feel comfortable. It should feel safe. You know, and like I said, like that honesty, transparency with the King of Coins feels safe to you. This does not feel like safety, right? This is sneaky and hidden and kind of negative. There's no comfort in this, right? But when we look at, you know, like these energies around us, very comforting. And even like bunnies, you know, bunnies are soft, flowers are soft. This kind of green energy, it very much matches the green and the flowers that you have here. So like that familiar energy is comforting for you. So I would venture to say that like when you're connecting with people, like as you kind of venture out and like date, paying attention to who you feel comfortable with and who you don't feel comfortable with outside of like your thoughts and your beliefs. You know, that fear is like that fear and like worry about the past. It feels like anxiety. It feels like noise. Safety and comfort, like those are feelings that are in your body, and those are feelings that are familiar. I would even venture to say, like when you spend time with your sisters, friends, like whoever these people are here in your life, like how do you feel? How does your body feel? How do your emotions feel? And using that as like a litmus test for how comfortable you feel when you meet new people, right? That like if you're dating people and they bring up this feeling, that's not a good sign. That is not comfort. Because when like the people that love you bring a feeling of comfort, and that includes that King of Coins. So that's how you'll know that it's your person, is like your body will feel very much at ease, very comfortable. And comfort is like a subjective term, right? Which is why I say like to make sure to tune in with how you feel when you're around the people that really love you, like your friends and family that gas you up, that like tell you all the reasons that you're deserving and amazing. How do you feel when you're with them? Allow that to be the gauge for what love should feel like and what positive connection should feel like. Next is a Power of Love card. Loyalty. Your reliability demonstrates your loving sense of devotion and consistency of being. Okay, so this consistency of being in the green cards, I'm going to move this over here. Actually, I'm going to move this over here. This feels like all the same energy to me. Like the coins energy, the pentacles energy, it's associated with earth energy, a lot of green, a lot of heart chakra, nature. You're a lot more emotional than practical. This blue to me looks like water, and there's nothing wrong with that. Earth and water go together very, very well. Your person might be an earth sign, you might be a water sign. These could be your Venus signs also if you're into astrology. If you're not, or that doesn't make sense, no need to worry about it. But loyalty is something I think that is important to both of you, and like consistency, reliability, like that's very much associated with like pentacles. When we think of like the earth signs like Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, Taurus is very, very big on comfort, consistency. Virgo is very big on like reliability, and also consistency. And then Capricorn is really big on like responsibility, predictability, predictability as far as like consistent, responsible behavior. So I feel like this is very much like the energy of the relationship, right? That like this is your person's energy, this is your energy, this is the energy of the relationship, and this is the way ahead. That like you guys are going to develop this really beautiful relationship of loyalty to one another, that you guys are becoming like a team, and I feel like it's more than like partners, that like I feel like partners, like they are partnered together because they have like common values or they have a common goal or something like that. But like a team works together to make something happen, to like bring a goal to fruition. And I feel like that's that energy that you guys have. You guys are a team, even though you're two people, you're a team of two, because you are working towards like building a life together, building a relationship together. And a huge part of that relationship is based in loyalty, which I feel like is really beautiful. Okay, and so the next two cards are what needs to be released for love to come in. So we've got imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. I'm going to put that with the Seven of Swords. And then we've got surrender to spirit. Once you've done everything you can to achieve a goal, turn the situation over to the divine. Let spirit work its magic for you. Okay. So with this Seven of Swords and imagination, the thing that you need to release is that part of your worst case scenarios. So, I think once you meet your person, the old stuff from the past, it's going to get triggered. That fear of like getting hurt again, that fear of not being worthy, that fear of losing this amazing relationship that you've built, or that you are building, that's like budding and growing. That fear is going to come in, and like the ego is just trying to protect you, right? So it's kind of pushing out these worst case scenarios into your mind, because your ego believes that if it can show you the pain that's coming, it can prevent you from being hurt, and it can't, right? What it can do is sabotage things, which maybe our egos aren't intending to do that, but they do, and so in the times that like those worst case scenarios come up, I would invite you to go back to that feeling of comfort, right? Because, just like when you first meet them, do you feel the same comfort with them as you do with these close friends, And so in those times that like the worst case scenario flares up, how are you feeling, in your body when that comes up, right? Is it because you felt comfort? Like, is it bringing you this sense of comfort, or does it feel like the stuff from the past? Because like I said, I feel like your ego is going to bring up stuff from the past because it thinks it's protecting you. But as you learn and grow and you're starting this new cycle, like you're having to relearn what love looks like, feels like, and is for you. And, like learning and growing is tricky, Like there are growing pains where things from the past come up, and we just kind of have to like work through them. And that might even trigger some of the old stuff, like the feelings of like not being worthy or not being deserving. And like I feel like in these moments, when there's like when our egos and our anxiety is flaring, and then like the old worries about like whether we deserve what we have flare up, like those are, like we can come up with like strategies to help us, to tune back into our body and like, how do I feel about this connection? Okay, like I still feel positive and comforted by this connection. So this is my ego flaring up, and then maybe we get bombarded by like, well, you don't think that you can just have this forever, right? Like you don't really believe that this person wants to stay with you. Like that can bring us to a really dark place. And I feel like that is the time when it can be most valuable to reach out to spirit, God, source, universe, and just surrender to the understanding that this would not be brought to you if you were not in alignment with it, and even to pray, right? And so I think prayers, a lot of times it's associated with religion, and you don't have to be religious to pray. Like there's not a right way to pray. The prayer can just be like, okay, spirit, I'm surrendering this to you. I don't know how to pull my brain out of this. I don't know how to like stop these feelings from coming back up. I feel like I'm making the best decision for me. I think that I'm in a safe place. So I just ask for you, spirit, to take over this situation. If there are things that I'm not seeing, show me. If there are things that I'm missing, show me. If there's healing that needs to be done and there's something that I can do, show me. Like I feel like when we really connect to spirit, when we connect to like our guides and ancestors, like they're there to help us. Like they want for us to have like loving, positive union, right? That we have this little bear with a heart in its belly, and two, the two is about partnership, like union, coming together. Like our guides and ancestors and angels, they want the best, highest good for us, and they are always there, and they're just ready to help. All we have to do is ask. And I think as human beings, sometimes it's tricky because if we can't, like, out of sight, out of mind, right? That we forget that these, these support systems, like these little angels and light fairies, like they're all around us. And we forget because we can't see them. And the things that we see a lot of times are more, I feel like the things of the 3D of this world are a lot, kind of darker, harder, just a lot more judgmental, and so it's like in the moments that you kind of feel lost in this, you're really being encouraged to reach out to your guides and angels and even like your friends and your support system to, just say, hey, like I'm having a hard time and I just need a little bit of support. So, learning how to ask for help. And then also when you are able to, like, when you are aware, like letting go of, like being aware and releasing those negative thought patterns from the past, like releasing, allowing your imagination to run away from you, and then kind of releasing, any kind of fear that like this won't heal. Okay, so I'm gonna move these over here. Let me see. Okay, so next I have some cards for you from your person. So your person is very, very ready for you. So for all the other groups, I only had one card come out, or I only pulled one card for their person. I also only pulled 3 Cupid's Arrow Oracle cards. As you can see, there are more here. So your person has quite a few messages for you. They also they also have a little bit of like a dominant, assertive energy. because like when, and I don't feel like that's a negative thing, right? Because like as the king, like they know their worth, they know their power, like they know their left and right limits. I feel like that's like such a military term. Like they know the boundaries and they know how to operate within the boundaries. And so this first card, when I was shuffling, it just flew out of the deck. And so at first I thought it was part of your reading. And I got this very strong, like, nope, that's from me. And it was like, oh, all right, me. Okay. So this little, well, I'm going to call him the Cranky King. He has a heart of gold, lovely, lovely person. It might not be a man. Like, I'm just saying he, because of the king thing, because gender is a construct that we made. What does it mean? But your person has a very like assertive energy. And I was like, okay, all right. And then this second one is also from them. Well, all these are from them, but yeah, that was the energy that I picked up for them, that they, were like, I got some things to say. So I need you to just take this message. And I feel like your person, very direct, probably a fast talker. I get like a little bit of like a East Coast kind of New York City vibe from them. Could be like Detroit, just someplace. They are from a place or a culture where you have to be very direct, and like they kind of grew up in this sort of like dog eat dog world, and they kind of appear rough around the edges, but they are an absolute sweetheart, which I feel like is the perfect imagery here, right? Like we have a cranky bunny, right? Where it's like, well, this bunny obviously doesn't want to be messed with, and like nobody wants to get bitten by a rabbit. They got those big teeth, but also like it's so soft and fluffy. So it's like there's like this dichotomy to your person, that people know not to mess with them. Like I said, very transparent, very honest, very authentic. So I like them. I like them. So let's see what they have to say. Okay. Okay. So this first card is the Temperance card. This is one of the, I want to say there's 4 angel cards in the tarot. So this is one of those angel cards. So the Temperance card has to do with, it's associated with Sagittarius energy. So your person might be a Sagittarius, or they might have some significant Sagittarius energy. Sun, moon, rising, if you're into astrology. If you're not, Sagittariuses are, fire signs. They have a tendency to be optimistic, but on the other side, they can be kind of dogmatic, like very stuck to like, this is how it should be. This is what it's supposed to be. They can kind of be drawn towards like philosophy and religion. So it's like philosophy is one side of it, religion is the other side of it. So like that dichotomy that I kind of talked about, like that is very much with like the Temperance energy too, because we have this cup, the angel's holding 2 cups, but the water is actually flowing equally between both, right? It doesn't make sense. How does water flow up in a cup? It's an angel. He could do whatever he wants, right? But this Temperance energy is very much about like finding balance in life, and also creating balance, like making balance happen. Again, we've got this little crown, connected to this king energy. Your person knows themselves very well. I feel like they're going to help you to learn how to be sure of who you are. Because of these things that have happened in the past, these things really affected like your self-esteem. They affected like how you see yourself. And so this, your person coming in, like they it doesn't take them very long before they know exactly who you are. And this is like, I feel like there's some past life stuff that like you guys have been in union before in probably a couple past lives. And like it's very easy for them to pick up on the essence of who you are. And so it almost feels like they're coming into your life now when you don't believe that you're ready, but you're ready to be done with this kind of pain and heartache. Like they are coming in now because one of the things that I don't know if it's their purpose for this lifetime, it might be, but like one of the things that is coming through is that like my job is to remind group number 4 like who exactly they are. Like my job is to come in and reflect back to group number 4 who they are, because we are the same. So they are your mirror. So the things that you see in them that you just are so smitten by, that you're just like head over heels about, like the qualities in them, those are things that you have in you that you have not learned to see yet. And I feel like as you learn to love them more, as you get to know them more, the doubt that you have about yourself is going to disappear. And so this 2 of Swords, typically with the 2 of Swords, we have one person that's holding the 2 swords and she's blindfolded. But I feel like, you know, with this in the reverse, like you're done doubting yourself, you know, and we've got this connection here in the darkness, right? We've got this crescent moon. And so like this, like we talked about, this situation from the past really, it hit your self-esteem. Like it caused you to question who you are. And like your person is saying that, like, you know, I'm here because we're done with that. Like I'm coming in to remind you who you are. I'm coming in to remind you why all this is a lie, that, you know, your ego's told you, that fear has told you. I'm coming in to remind you of the amazingness of who you are, and to help you stop doubting yourself, to help you kind of cut this out, to end this, which I feel like is so, like, it's so beautiful. But I feel like it's also like, when you think about like reincarnation and like our soul's purpose, like how much do you have to love someone to want part of your soul purpose in this lifetime to be helping them grow and helping them remember like how amazing they are? It makes me feel like this when I think about it. It makes me want to hug myself. Look at that. It's just so, like, I don't have words for it. It's like, it's sweet is not the right word. It's just loving and adorable. And look at that. I feel like the more I try to talk about it, the more cranky your King of Coins bunny is getting. Like, just stop. Read the cards. Quit being all mushy. Okay, so this next card is another message from them. It's from the Divine Beloved deck, and the message is decisions. Perfect actions are shown. We've got another Archer here, so I feel like Sagittarius is a significant sign for them. But the message is, change me, Divine Beloved, into one who can offer all decisions to you. May I trust during times of transition that the perfect actions will be shown. Grant me patience to allow events to line up as they need to. Okay, so your person is telling you that your guides and your ancestors are going to lead you to them. You know, and so just like this person, you know, is aiming at something, and they're saying, you know, may I trust during times of transition that the perfect actions will be shown. Grant me patience to allow events to line up as they need to. Like, they are asking you to talk to your guides and angels to help them, like, get you pointed in the right direction to find them, because they're ready for you And you know, like we talked about, you still have some work to do. You have some cycles to end. And so, you know, as you're watching this, I feel like this reading is kind of helping you get more ready to become more open to receive them, to have them in your life. And so, you know, obviously I don't know everything about your situation. I can only give you so much information based on what I am kind of picking up, you know, but it is a general reading. So everybody's situation is different, but we all have guides and angels, you know, and ancestors and God source spirit to help us. So your person is asking you, like, talk to them, talk to spirit, you know, talk to spirit and ask them what it is that you need to do to get pointed to me, to get pointed to find me. I love that. See, your person is like so direct. They're like literally direct group number 4 to me. Like if I was able to draw, like to do, what is it called? Is it scrying? I don't know what it's called. It's like where mediums can like close your eyes and like automatic writing. Like if I could do that and draw you a map, I would, because this person is ready to just be like a container and a safe space for you. Like we've got in the background here, we've got these pillars and then this castle, right? And so it's like they are ready to be this castle. And it's like, you know that, I mean, it's the same castle. Y'all, come on. Like, you know that this is what you are longing for and what you want, but the thing that's holding you back is you. And your person's like, point them at me. Like, point them at me. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this. Okay, and so then we have these Cupid's arrow oracle cards from your person. So let's see. Moving on, endings that bring healthy beginnings. Okay, so we had that with the world card. I'm going to put this, moving on from this. It's moving on from the painful stuff, moving on from the belief that you don't deserve what it is that you want, because that is a lie. You deserve all of it and more. Expansion, pursue bigger and greater endeavors. Yep, that world card. You're opening up to the fullness of you. You're opening up to like being seen and like yes. Communicate, receive, and express the truth. Yep. Talking to spirit. And recognition, admiration for your hard work is coming. Okay. Yeah. So I feel like you healing, you know, you moving on, like the admiration that's coming for you is from your king angel cranky bunny. That's silly. It's a silly name. It's not a silly concept, you know, because this person, like, you know, yeah, they're kind of rough around the edges, but like they're smitten with you. Like they cannot wait. Like I feel like they're almost frustrated that they have to wait for you, because normally they would just go and get what they want. Like, because they're so direct, they're like, what? Maybe that's why they're cranky. That's why they're a cranky bunny. Because they're like, why can't I just go get group number 4? Why can't I just go pick up group number 4 from their house and tell them how amazing they are and that I'm an angel and I've been waiting for them? Well, because I don't think that you would believe them. First of all, group number 4's person. I'm having a whole conversation with y'all, and am I crazy? Maybe. Anyway, like they're ready for you. They're ready for you. So, yeah, they said, like, whenever you will have me is like what came up. So it's like they're not trying to pressure you to be ready. They're saying like, I am yours whenever you will have me. Like time is not an option. Time doesn't matter, you know? So I hope that brings you some comfort as far as like taking the time that you need to heal, learning how to connect to spirit, you know, learning how to communicate and receive communication from spirit so that you can continue on this journey of healing that is going to lead you to your angel cranky bunny person. So group number 4, that has been your love reading. This has been a joy. Like, this has been so fun. I don't normally do love readings, but I really, really enjoyed this. This is, like I said, this is how I feel about your connection with your person. It's so stinking cute and so lovely. And yeah, and this person is just like, they are for you, they are your biggest fan, your personal bodyguard, like your hype person. Like, they're like, they want to like lift you up and protect you all at the same time. And it's just really it's beautiful energy. It's very it's almost like you hold this relationship so tenderly, and this is the same way that they hold you. The way that you hold this is the same way that they want to hold you, as this like beautiful, like magical little like prize, like this thing that holds the whole world inside of it. You know, like they can't take their eyes off of it, just like you can't not dream about this relationship happening. You can't be almost like reminded of it, even though it's not here yet. I think the reminiscing comes from the fact that it's a past life connection. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Oblivion. I feel like that might have some like resonance for you, like that feeling, the feelings of when he remembers the woman, like the memories he has, and like the feelings that come from those memories. Like, it's just really lovely. But yeah, group number 4, this has been your love reading. So if you enjoyed it, I would love it if you would like and subscribe. I would especially love it if you would comment and let me know which part of the reading you enjoyed the most. If it was this little share bear, if it was your cranky king bunny angel person that's waiting for you, whatever it is, I'd love to hear it. And I just want to say thank you so much for letting me read for you. And thank you for watching. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.